Tom Alvin and Michael Ford first match. The Zebras pushed the Scorpions all the way, shattering Ford's normally placid persona. But his men held firm for a 2-point win. The best of the VFA was on show on a slippery MCG in June. The competition's credentials were there for all to see in a 92-point thumping of New South Wales.
3 votes, Werribee, T. Satterley.
Werribee's Paul Satterley took the individual glory at the Liston. But who will lift the Premiership Cup? Will it be Springvale for the first time since Phil Maylan in 1987? Or will it be Sandringham's Anthony Allen for the 3rd time in 4 years? Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for VFA Grand Final Day 1995. It's the Scorpions from Springvale against the Zebras from Sandringham. It took until last week, but without a doubt, the 2 best teams have made it through to the finals. Sandringham have proved their knockers wrong, and Springvale have done nothing wrong this season. In fact, they've only lost 1 game coming in, and they have 3 wins on the board against Sandringham this season. But this is the one that counts. I know we're going to have special interest from our country viewers in East Gippsland because the respective coaches hail from the same town. Well, a city, in fact, population of just under 11,000, Bairnsdale. In 1983, Tom Alvin and Michael Ford played together for Bairnsdale. They then came to the VFL with differing success, with Michael Ford playing 98 games for Footscray, and now here he is coaching Springvale, who come out onto the ground. Sandringham, led by their young mascot, James Bowles, and if they're looking for some inspiration, James is the man to give it to them. 7 years of age, bored without a lower right leg, but he kicks the ball around with the best of them. The son of the team manager and Anthony Allen, the team captain, getting them all together to run out onto the ground. The coach, Tom Alvin, played 218 games for Carlton and tasted premiership success. But today, I guess the whip hand is in Springvale's court. Michael Ford's team having only beaten once this season. Philip Cleary, an umpteenth grand final in the VFA for you, Phil, and looking forward to it as much as ever, I guess.
Well, without doubt, Peter. And the one thing about the VFA grand finals is that they are very unpredictable. And over the journey, I think I've seen about 21 of them been involved with more than 21 of them over that period of time, is that there is a real collection of games that have been won by the side that you didn't expect to win. And we've seen that even in recent times. You go back to 1990 with Springvale going down to Williamstown, 86 Coburg going down to Williamstown. You know, there's Williamstown in 85 nearly pinching it off Sandringham. Sure, Springvale are the favourite and you'd put your money on them, but Sandy's form in the last couple of weeks has been superb and they just might be able to do it. It'll be tight, I think. Well,
making a brief cameo performance this week, if in fact the word brief is in his vocabulary. Welcome back, Sam Kekovich. You obviously missed us.
Well, it's terrific to be back, and I must say, in all honesty, I have missed you. And Phil, your smiling face absolutely brought a delight, made my day, let me tell you.
Well, you've kept in touch with the VFA. Can you make a case for Sandy against the raging favourites?
I have kept a firm eye over it during the course of the year. I think you can build a case for Sandringham. I think they've been very good in recent times. Under Tom Alvin, I think it's taken him a while to adjust to the different tempo of football. And I think now he's really welded the side together very, very close. Their midfield, if you have a look at the Foleys and the Anthony Allens, of course, Herman's been very good in recent time, Timmy Rennett's, and of course they've got a couple of targets up forward. And plus the fact they've been down this track 3 or 4 times.
I mean, 3 and 4 years, that's got to stand them in great stead.
Well, it showed last week, didn't it? Their midfield, as Sam mentions, has just been superb. And Tim Rennett, Sam, he's a real wild card. You know, 2 great performances in 88, 89.
Playing in his 5th grand final.
And he, you know, in the last couple of weeks, he's been like a magician. And with Mitchelson there and Foley and Herman, if they can win that contest in the midfield, they are a real chance. And your mate Winton, he's been going all right, Sam, I can tell you that much.
Well, Brian Winton is absolutely magnificent that he has resurrected his career, because he was very much in the scrap heap when he was at Param, but it's terrific to see.
Advance Australia Fair.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is God by sea, our land
The Least Beatty, a beautiful unaccompanied version of our national anthem. The Victorian Police Pipe Band are out there, and well, the players just love to break away after national anthems, don't they, and run a few of those nerves out. I wonder who is the more nervous, fellas. I mean, Springvale have been sitting there, one hand on the cup virtually since halfway through the season. Sandringham have had to play 3 games coming in, and well, they've only played 1 final game, Springvale.
Well, Dennis Pagan threw down the gauntlet to Carlton during the week, didn't he, Sam, saying they'd be under a lot of pressure, and Springvale, you could say, are in a similar situation. But the truth is that Springvale have been the best side, and we really shouldn't underestimate them. They've been superb, losing only 1 game. They're a great side, Peter. There are no flaws in their team. Whether Sandringham can expose some, I think, remains to be seen. I doubt it in the end.
Well, you're right. All those intangibles, the war of words, really count for nothing. As soon as that siren's blown, the
it's who's on the day.
It's who's on the day, and that's a very, very valid point you make.
I mean, there's just, I think it's 50-50 as to whether you've played the week before or you haven't, as to who succeeds on the big day.
And you've got to understand also, both coaches, you know, they're extremely well-drilled side. Both Ford and Alvin have had a lot of experience, so their preparation would be absolutely impeccable. And I think the VFA are very fortunate that that their year's going to be showcased by the 2 great sides. Unfortunately, it is with a tinge of sadness that we see the end of the VFA in the traditional sense.
Well, it's Tom Layoff who tosses the coin, a VFA Life member, a former Port Melbourne and Brighton great. And I think it must have been Springvale that won the toss. Dennis Knight going to the Sharon stand end. The breeze has swung right around today, so a new breeze for the players to get used to. But we'll get some more thoughts from gents shortly on how they think it's going to go. Let's hear what the coaches had to say prior to the game. And Michael Ford expects this game to be nothing less than a very willing grand final.
If we've started well and we're going well again in the second quarter, you know, opposition teams are going to do everything they possibly can to slow you down and make it difficult for you to continue in the vein you're going in. So if that means that they start to take you on physically, so be it.
Does that mean you feel you're going to set the trend of the game right from the start, and it's for them to follow?
Well, we have all year, so I can't see why it should be any different today. I would hope that we would start as well as we possibly could, set ourselves up in the first quarter to see out the rest of the game.
Any added incentive coming up against Tom Alvin? Your careers, you know, in the VFL went different ways, but here you are again up against your old Bairnsdale sparring partner.
Yeah, it's interesting. We had a press conference on Friday, and it's one of the few times that I've actually had a chance to speak with Tom during the year. And, I mean, we'll have some fun, there's no doubt about that. He is very good at what he does, and he obviously runs his team out on the ground exceptionally well. Hopefully I'll be able to do that from the box, mate, because my playing days are over.
We're just going to work hard in a few areas, and you know, the conditions been windy, and it might help us out a little bit. So
I think it's a leveler, do you?
Oh, look, maybe although they say on wet and rainy days the better skilled side does show out, so it'll be interesting. But we've got a few plans in place, and if they work on the day, we'll be a good chance.
Have you stressed to your backline they've got to look after the ball very well? Guys like Knight coming down for Springvale, give them half a chance, they tend to slot those goals.
Yeah, very good goal kicker, isn't he, Knight, and a very good player. Obviously, as I said, we've got our plans in place. It's just not a matter of trying to cut off their forward line. You've got to cut off their midfield dominance as well, and cut off their run from their back line. So they're a very hard team to combat.
Midfield has certainly stood you in good stead so far. You've got to try and weigh up the attack with the defence, the nullifying aspect.
Oh, no doubt, and that's probably one of the hardest facets in football, isn't it, to get the percentages right on the attack and on the defence. So, you know, if you defend too much, you're not going to win the game, and if you attack too much, well, you get a good chance, you know. So it's really a hard one to get the right mix, isn't it?
Well, just about ready to go. Springvale out Adrian Burns and Chris Dillon. In comes Tim Courtney and Craig Davison for them. So Burns and Dillon, disappointed men to be dropped on the eve of the grand final. Unchanged lineup for Sandringham today. Paddy Lambert not being brought back for his 3rd crack at a flag, so that was the tough decision that Tommy Alvin had to make prior to today's game. So pretty similar to the lineups we saw just 2 weeks ago when Springvale were 45-point winners in the second semi-final. Now it's for keeps, the grand final in 95. And it's going to be Sandringham going to, with the breeze, left to right. But the bounce favoured Simon Clark, one of 3 survivors from the 1990 Springvale side that was beaten in that very memorable grand final against Williamstown. And there's a high tackle.
Here's Winton there on Lelner's, quite an obvious one.
Lelner's. Murray doing the defensive work, doing a good job on Smith there. Ball hacked forward by Brent Smith for Springvale. Another free kick. This one's going to go against Winton as well. He's given away.
Unnecessary too, Peter. He could have tackled him correctly there.
O'Donnell hacks the ball forward. Out comes Martello, who's been a tremendous centre half back in this final series. Really come of age in VFA football. It might seem a little strange for a man of his experience, but now it's Sandy going forward for the first time. Brent Smith out in front of Lee Snooks. Lovely delivery. Snooks should have held that. Caples clears. The centre half back has been impassable this season for Springvale. As we say good afternoon for the first time to Ross Booth, who comes up into the commentary position. Down on the boundary line this afternoon, Clark Hansen.
Yes, well, the breeze is very fluky. It does favour the right-hand side or the Sharon stand end, but talking to a few of the players, it's very fluky and very difficult to read.
That was Reynolds trying to get clear. Well tackled. Handball out. Is taken away by Montgomery. Springvale shouldn't have that many problems against the breeze in the reserves. It was the case that goals could be kicked down at the River Falls end. That's taken away by Hansen. Snooks got his hands onto that one at least. Good recovery too, Lee Snooks. The spoil. And hacked away high by Bergman. And here's Caples underneath him. He holds the chest mark.
Gee, they've had a couple of opportunities there. Sandringham could have done a little better. An early goal would really lift the stocks.
Warwick Angus goes defensive on Clark. No chance to get clear there. So we've got 7 survivors from last year's premiership team. One of them is Ian Herman there, getting up from the bottom of the pack, kicked the last goal for Sandringham last year. And in the reserves, Springvale have already got a pennant for their efforts in 1995. 27-point winners over Box Hill were the Scorpions. Never in trouble in that one. As we say good afternoon, Roscoe.
Yes, and Trevor Barker, of course, in the rooms, the Sandringham rooms for the match, along with Pat Lambert. He's played his last game for the club. He's moving to South Australia, missing out. Didn't even get a hamstring test. Felt he wouldn't come up.
More Springvale players around the ball, but it comes loose to Reynolds. Caples again. Playing the percentages, knocking the ball down. Another tackle and advantage played. Dennis Knight, tremendous running player. Clark couldn't handle the handball though. Melody gives it back to Simon Clark. Mitchelson has had a superb final series. Williams finally seeing grand final action for Sandy, having been unlucky over the last few years. That was Snooks being sandwiched. Alvin met very heavily. They're very hard at the ball, Springvale. Montgomery gets it forward. And another free kick given away.
God, cheeky touch that.
Courtney, good to see him back for the Scorpions. He's been one of their terrific pickups this season from Oakley, and there's the mark from Baldwin.
Yeah, Smith got the big job on Baldwin. Be very interesting.
From the centre circle, Baldwin inside 50. Hansen trying to spoil Evans, couldn't. And Brett Evans from 45 metres.
Yes, you could see that about to occur, couldn't you, Ross? Once that ball held up a little bit and Evans had a metre on Hansen.
Much of the scoring to the left of screen in spite of going into the breeze in the reserves. Evans almost to the square. Smith pushed aside. That's Baldwin in there with Smith 46.
Certainly applying plenty of pressure, Sandringham.
Yes.
Which they must if they're to stay in the game against their very talented opponents.
Very aggressive in the rooms pre-match, as you'd expect them to be. More fired up than I've seen them during the finals, which is saying something. Nick Murray caught with it. Baldwin laying the tackle. Quick hands by Carroll. Smith goes to ground. And the bounce. 5 minutes into the first quarter. Back-to-back flags. The aim for the Zebras.
They're the 3 men in white today. Martello goes again off the ground. Conditions of foot very good. A bit of sting has gone out of the ground with that rain. The players have complained that it has been very hard, the Victoria Park surface. Angus couldn't pick it up, but they still move it along to centre wing, the Zebras. Jason Caples. been impassable, as I said, at centre-half back, but also set up so much in attack. Now, Mark Frater has got the job of looking after Knight. Frater came in last week and did a tremendous job in the middle. The ball comes loose. Has a good look, Caples, through the hands of Baldwin. Nick Hansen on half-back. Got a shepherd from Anthony Allen. Can't keep it in play, though.
He should have done better than that, Hansen. And enough space.
O'Donnell short to Melody. Over to Carroll. He's getting a lot of the ball as he did 2 weeks ago. Evans in front from the side. A great mark to Kane Taylor.
Yes, he's taking, got Tommy Alvin too, I think. Taylor, he's drifted down. That ball holding up, just catching the Sandringham defenders back a metre too far.
No scorers yet. Taylor goes short. Kick not effective, but Dyson Holland on the half volley. Gave it to Courtney. Missed Dennis Knight, intercepting the captain. Anthony Allen from half-back. Sends it wide looking for Winton. He's got the drop on Caples. The big men stride after it. The boundary line too close.
Brilliant football from Allen, and we've seen him do this so many times in the last couple of weeks. 151 games today, Anthony Allen. There was the ball delivered to the bloke on screen. And there's the man, number 8 in the Sandringham jumper. Been a great VFA player over the past decade.
A fortnight ago, Leelnors really sparked Springvale in the first quarter, number 33, and Allen's guarding him. Kevin O'Donnell handballing it over the boundary line under pressure from Foley. That's going to be a tremendous duel. The centre line duel, well, I guess it's goes without saying that's probably going to decide the game.
Just notice Foley's right hand strapped. Talk about his skateboard being hurt again, number 4. You might see a shot of it later. Mitchelson running onto it. Taylor showed courage. Here's Scott Brannigan. Got a high one from Taylor. Winton remonstrating with Kane Taylor, who's shown himself to be aggressive at the ball. And if not the player with the ball, Phil.
The hip bone on the head, but Scott Brannigan's a tough little operator, Roscoe.
Into the dead pocket. Poor kick.
Got to make better use of these forward attacks, Sandringham.
Caples getting plenty of the ball at half-back. The ball holding up in the breeze. Allen reads it. Anthony Allen. Taking the deep breath and driving it long. Renitz will stay down, allow Walker to come flying in. It comes off to Tim Renitz, reads the play so well and usually uses it better than that. So we've finally got a score on the board, and it took 8 minutes 15.
And that's a good sign for Sandringham, really. If they can apply that sort of pressure for nearly 10 minutes, suggests they might be able to just contain Springvale.
Shane Bergman, been a great fullback in his first year at the club. State rep. Down to Mitchelson. Tried to find Allen. Leelnors quickly to Dennis Knight. Away from Allen. Long. Great hand pass to Montgomery. Thought about giving it to Leelnors. Goes wide looking for Evans, who's proving a handful already in the air. Little chip looking for Baldwin. Smith at the back. Good spoil. Smith split the pack. Leelnors picks up. Quick hands to Carroll. Back goes Baldwin. Martello takes him out of the action with a good bump.
I don't think we would have seen that from Aaron Martello, you know, in his Paran days.
He's really lifted. He's full of confidence. Peter, he's done well on Danny Sexton in the finals, bar 1 quarter.
Dyson Holland pushed him out of the way. Ball shot out in front of Herman. Clever play. Renitz. Beautiful handball to the running Warwick Angus. He'll be enjoying seeing grand final action. Oh, come on. Gone too far.
Well, I think he was getting closer and closer in those last couple of steps. I think the umpire probably made the right decision. I don't know what you think, Sammy. In the AFL, are they running further than that? I would think so.
We've got a comparable problem, Phil. Umpiring technically as opposed to the spirit of the game.
There's the kick from Simon Clark. It's dropping straight down. Baldwin flew. Leelnors knocks it back into the corridor. Kick off the ground from Brett Evans. Murray is lost, but he's got back up from Hansen. Putting himself on top of the ball, Tim Courtney, out to his former Oakley teammate in Melody, who puts the high tackle in on Adam Williams.
Good play by Williams under a fair bit of pressure there to win that ball.
Williams has a lead from Allen. held his ground, hits the mark, wastes no time, back to Martello, receives it in return. The lead from Renitz, ball carrying with the breeze, centre wing. Winton, good work keeping Caples out of the action to half forward wide. Herman, nice gather, been in great form. Spearing kick up towards Amiot, through the hands almost. Winton, dribbling kick. Will it fall to Sandringham's favourite? Tim Scott-Brannigan, Dennis Knight over the ball. And it's tough. A lot of strong tackling, Philip.
Very, very good in close, Ross. Plenty of pressure being applied. The Zebras know that their only chance is to tie this game up, to apply pressure at every contest. Scott Brannigan is that.
Blood rule by the look of things.
And the umpire has to wait.
Philip,
Tommy
seems
Kuipert.
Springvale intent on physically dominating Sandringham, and perhaps, you know, just testing out any blokes that may have copped a niggling one over the last 3 weeks.
Yes, I think it's more, though, that Sandringham are just tying them up a bit, Peter, and winning a lot of those 50-50 contests, just not allowing Springvale to get that flow going, and that little bit of breeze will certainly help the Zebras, I would think.
Tom Kuipert has played 11 games this season for 21 goals. Another prong to their forward line.
The reason I say that, Peter, is that they're very skilled side, the Springvale team, and they like to link up. There's Dennis Knight, one of the prime movers, and in these conditions it's a little bit harder to spot your targets. Gives the opposition a bit more of a chance.
Clark fisted boundary line. Damien Carroll couldn't keep it in play, but already he's been near where the ball is on a number of occasions. Herman there with him, and he's been one of Sandy's best during this final series.
Notice Foley's number 4, his right wrist strap there. Some talk that it's a bit sore. I'll have to watch that. He's got the ball now. Tries to break the tackle. Alvin in support, and Frater. Knight. And Tom Alvin working close in the packs.
Now, Ross, is that breeze worth a couple of goals or not?
Well, it is. It's very strong into to the right of screen from the southeast, but much of the scoring in the reserves, or more of the scoring, was to the left of screen, into the breeze. They take it up that outer side. This side of the ground is the defensive side. Knight caught with it, got the hand pass away. Peacock couldn't find a man in Little.
You see even there that Springvale not able to set up that manoeuvre.
Clark Hansen with some news on the boundary line.
Yes, Tim Scott-Brannigan has gone into the dressing room. He may need a stitch or two and to a cut on the head.
That's why Kuipert's out there. Snooks kicked it off the ground. Kuipert comes in. Comes loose to Foley, was it? Yes, he's got it. No problems with the hand there. He grabbed that and dropped it onto the boot in one motion. So that's the first goal kicked, and it took 13.25 minutes. 7 points, Sandringham, to Springvale yet to score.
You could see, Peter, there that when Foley threw that on the boot, the breeze really did cart it through the air. It was a very important goal. They worked hard, taking the ball off Dennis Knight, I think, at some point. No, it was Taylor, actually, who didn't really go after it strongly enough. Foley onto it, like, as Sam Kekovich used to say, Johnny on the spot, wasn't he, Keka?
Well, gee, in the context of the game, might be a very important goal, because there might be only 3 or 4 kicks for the day.
Clark won the tap. Carroll was good in the centre. Gave it back to Clark, but the kick chopped off by Renitz. At half-back. Goes long. A booming torpedo. Might carry the pack. Snooks flies. Peacock. Can he get clear? Uses his pace. Wally-looking punt kick. But Carroll, he's getting a lot of the ball again. That'll be of concern. Montgomery into the breeze. A poor kick out of bounds. Out of side.
Ross, I'd like to see Walker up at centre half forward, moving around a bit. I thought he did very well up there last week. He's in the goals today.
Where's Amy at?
In the forward pocket with Jeffs.
7 possessions to Carroll in 14.5 minutes. He had 50 in the second semi. So he's on target for another big score in possession. There's Steve Amiot with his man, Michael Jeffs.
Michael Jeffs, who just missed playing in the 1987 Premiership. He was first emergency, but Phil Malan's Achilles came up that day, and he was the water boy. Jeffs playing his second grand final today as it spills loose to Mitchelson in his 3rd in 4 years, and that hits the behind post for a throw-in.
Quite evident, and Phil, I'm sure you'd endorse this. You've got to make the most of your opportunities in grand finals.
You do.
And the side that's committed to those 1%ers and that makes the most of those opportunities invariably wins the ball game.
Up goes Snooks, tries for the backhander, Amy it. Kick was smothered, might have been Jeff's. Clearing kick by Melody is out of bounds on the full.
Yes, and I think following up with what Keck has said there, I think Sandy have had a couple of opportunities they should have really got goals from.
Centering kick finds Mitchelson. There's the 50-metre line in the background. Kevin O'Donnell on the mark. No space. Yes, there. There's a lead from Snooks, just over his head. Walker. He turned the wrong way to the defensive side of the ground, Phil.
Yes, I'd like to see him up at, there he is, Robert Walker. I'd like to see him up at centre-half forward.
Christian Davison, not on the ground yet. One of the interchange players with a blood nose. The excitement might have been too much in his first grand final.
Oh, brilliant, Bergman. Well, I think they should call him the Birdman. Take it away from Brett Evans. The fullback drifting in. Having seen it kicked out by a teammate. And away goes Kevin O'Donnell. Mitchelson made some ground, but not enough. A little push out by Dyson Holland on Martello. Run over by Anthony Allen. 50 metres out from the Springvale scoring zone, and they have not troubled the scorer yet. We've played 17 minutes, 1-1 to no score. Sandringham, the defending premiers, leading. Again, Dyson Holland has the better of the physical duel with Martello. Foley handballed it forward. Mitchelson knocks it back. Angus left it behind. O'Donnell to Clark. The handball goes astray because of the Foley pressure. Angus gave it to Alvin. Nice centering kick. He's dropped 3 so far, Snooks. Didn't get his hands on that one. Here he is. Oh, I was going to say staying on his feet, but Walker, his teammate, tripped him up. Kuipert overrunning it. Hasn't seen a heck of a lot of football in the last month, having come on from the interchange after recovering from injury.
To some good contests. O'Donnell on Mitchelson's a beauty, and Frater on Knights. Isn't that very interesting just at the moment, Roscoe? Frater doing very well.
And Angus up against Clark. Little. Second time was better. Carroll, Caples, Peacock. Out of defence. Foley goes back. Got a push from Montgomery. Shane Foley, the Zebra goal kicker. 1-1-7. Springvale yet to score. Towards Angus. Good mark. Adrian Little.
He's a good player. He and Bergman, gee, they're solid, aren't they?
Adrian Little from Vermont walked into the club, said, I want to try it out. And what a recruit he's been. Short to Melody.
Nearly a 50-metre there.
Mighty Melody getting across to Damien Carroll. Baldwin couldn't get double back on it. Allen always protects the ball very well. Gives it back to Renitz. Ball knocked away from Alvin. Coming through with it, Herman. There'll be a bounce. Midway between wing and half forward for Sandringham. Springvale fans would be dismayed to know their team hasn't scored, but Sandringham, with the Breeze, have only managed 1 goal, 1. It's a cold, windy day at Victoria Park, and whoever wins this premiership is going to have earned it. Umpire Sexton puts it down. Clark won't get there. The bouncing hasn't really been very good during the final series. Anthony Allen slipping his man here, Amiot, but leaving from full-back Bergman. The full forward, Smith, running hard up to the wing.
Too well done by the Vales there, but a poor kick by Anthony Allen trying to slot it into Amiot. Would have been better, I'd have thought, getting into that corridor, going longer.
Clark gets it down. The bounce wasn't a good one for Foley.
Well,
Clark's punch to Leonors. Knight pops it for Baldwin. Didn't kick it. Drifting into the forward line is Brett Evans. It's not going to make the distance, so Evans is the man.
Yeah, they're always in trouble there. You see it, Kecker, then, couldn't you? Ball kicked in quickly, and Evans in front. The ball always going to drop into the wing. Hanson with his hands full on this very accomplished player, Brett Evans.
Looking for the first major of the day for Springvale, their first score. It's a behind.
It's not going to be easy to kick from down there either. That breeze is a bit tricky. And Kecky, you had a few games here. I think in 19 77, was it?
Don't rack your
78,
brain,
70.
Phil. I'll finish with all the relevant info. In fact, I had 4 games here, Phil. Exactly. I kicked 4 goals, and I don't recall kicking any from this end. So, if you want any...
Give me the year.
Yeah, next year, 78, a premiership at Paran.
That's correct.
That's right.
Now it's Nick Murray. It's out towards Brett Evans. He's come down with it again.
Well, that's not a very good kick in, really, there from Murray.
Spinning it out to O'Donnell. Trying to run it within some sort of range to get a shot at goal. Knight slipped away from Frater, giving it to Evans. That's 3-on-1 here. Springvale take advantage through Baldwin. Not paid. Pretty tough.
Oh, my word, gee whiz. Peter Baldwin would be wondering what the umpire was ruling on that was. He seemed to have it for a long time.
Phil, I think coaches often get stats at quarter time. Damien Carroll, 9 possessions, and on him is Ian Herman, or vice versa, 3. Carroll going well. O'Donnell overrunning it. Mitchelson smothered beautifully by Melody. Centering kick, 2-on-1. The sport at the back. Smith after it. To Smith. This is Brent Smith. Oh, did it well. The half-back flanker for the Zebras. Good work by Williams to Shepherd Smith. He kicks to centre wing. Cables at the back. It cleared the pack, though. Through comes Little. Off the ground, no. Snooks picked it up. Look for Alvin. Almost a free. Now it's Phil's for Alvin. Can he pick it up? Gives it to Snooks on his preferred foot. He centres it. Back goes Walker. Great grab by Robert Walker. He seemed to be under it, but he stretched very hard.
He's been very good in the last week in particular. He came off the interchange before that. I suppose, yes, just the foot gone over the top. But I see the reasoning with Alvin here. Actually, I suppose Walker, a good foil for Bergman at full back. Probably the reason why he's not playing him at centre half forward and using Winton in the square. He could take the game up to Bergman, this fella.
Second goal of the match. Second goal to the Zebras. They lead by 13 points to 1.
So I might have to take back that caller suggesting he gets out to centre half forward. Because in a sense, that just suggests that he might really put some pressure on down at that end where the Vales are very, very powerful with Little and Bergman. Great kick here by Snooks. Kecky, you wouldn't want any better than that, would you?
Absolutely fantastic, Phil. And I was just starting to sense that almost 20 minutes or so have elapsed. Sandringham had the bulk of the play, yet haven't been able to transfer that dominance on the scoreboard. And at times, that can work against you, that.
Oh, it certainly can.
Scoreboard pressure.
2 goals in front, Sandringham. Warwick Angus gets it down. Foley dealt with the difficult bouncing ball. Caples gets up with the football.
Brilliant play, Caples.
Slipped himself out of danger and found a man. Now he's proving a real handful at the moment. Peter Baldwin for Brent Smith, who walked into the club. In fact, Sandy have his girlfriend to thank for the fact that he's playing at Sandy this year. Walked in at the start of the season, coming down from Canberra, and said, "Can I get a game?"
They're benevolent women, aren't they, Peter?
You should know that, Sam. Oh, couldn't hold it. Hanson taken by Courtney. There's their first goal. Tim Courtney slips it through. And given his performance this year, he deserves to come into the grand final side today. He's going to give them something. He's very versatile up on the forward line. At the moment, it would appear, gets the first major, makes the difference 6 points.
Yes, that was a great piece of work by Courtney. The Sandringham defenders just at 6 and 7. Hanson doesn't quite keep hold of it or get it out of the danger zone.
Phil, possession so far, Springvale 69-43. They're running the ball into the breeze. They had more of the ball, but behind on the scoreboard. Frater couldn't take it. Alvin did. Foley fed it out to Mitchelson. He had to kick very wide towards Amiot and Snooks. Amiot Shepherds for Snooks. But that's in the defensive forward pocket. The breeze blowing into that
Free
pocket.
kick, Ross, to Amiot there against Little. He just grabbed hold of him off the ball, round the head. The umpire spotted it.
Too far out to score. He'll centre it. It holds up in the breeze. Bergman.
He's a good player, this bloke, isn't he? Solid as a rock.
Shane Bergman, 21 years of age. The kick through the hands of Foley. It's kept in off the boot of Mitchelson. O'Donnell couldn't get clear. Fatty Frater couldn't get his handball away. Called fatty because of his similarity to a certain rugby league former player and now television identity. And if you see him head on, you'll probably know who I'm talking about. Don't know if he likes the punt or not. Hanson couldn't get away. Now the whistle's gone, held after it.
Yeah, look, there's a lucky free kick there.
It's a free kick for
Scott Brannigan, a different
yeah,
number.
yeah, he's changed jumpers, I think. Amy, it won't be paid the mark. Alvin falls the ball back underneath him. That's why the Springy fans shout ball. Hasn't had too many free possessions yet, Tom Alvin. Last week had one of Port Melbourne's best prime movers put onto it. He was happy just to take him out of play. As Rennett's hoisted high. Good play, Bergman, because he was right there with his name on it, Walker. We've played 26-15 of the first quarter. Just 3 goals kicked. Sandringham by 7 points. Bergman sees something short. Kane Taylor.
He tries to find Peacock, harassing him, Tom Alvin. Works the turnover. Rennett's tried to kick long. Thumped away by Bergman. Melody. Upset by Frater. Oh, Follett's twice he's overrun the ball. Bergman in the middle of the pack. Out to Carroll. Is that a throw towards O'Donnell? Some say yes. Herman knocks it forward. Walker missed Bergman. The kick slews off the outside of the boot. Across the ground. The bouncing ball chased by Melody. He missed it. And a few errors in the blustery conditions here at Victoria Park, Collingwood.
Yes, that wind, it's a real mind bender, isn't it?
20
the ball all over the place.
7 minutes into the first quarter of the grand final. Springvale trailing Sandringham by 7 points. Angus in the ruck. O'Donnell. Melody gets away from Tim Scott Brannigan. Peacock over the top. Ooh, riding them up well was Baldwin. Nice pick up by Courtney. Used his pace through the middle. Spears the pass up towards Dyson Holland. He knew there was support there from Baldwin. Got around Martello. Puts it very high. It's about 45 metres from goal. Smith couldn't control it. Martello, ooh, the elbow was high. Evans has caught him, holding the ball.
That was silly played by Martello, really. Very silly play as he was about to be tackled. He wanted to take on Evans, resulting in a free kick.
Pops it for Dyson Holland. Should have held it. Knight came in on Murray. Courtney shoots the ball out, but Tim Rennett's is there. In desperation, hacks it back into the corridor, and Caples has taken the mark under extreme pressure and duress. Umpire Hanley comes in as a word to Walker.
It was a real contest, wasn't it? I don't know.
The big swinging right hand just sort of flicked him, I think.
Blood rule.
Jason Caples upset, but I don't think it was with malice or forethought.
Well, he had to go for the contest, Peter. You know, he's flicked him across the nose, but you saw it on the screen. It didn't look all that bad. It's not hard to start a nosebleed, is it, Sam?
No, it's not. It's one of the blights in the game that's really crept into our game, isn't it, this blood drill? I mean, certainly in agreement with it, but the manner in which it's executed from here on in, I mean, so they've got to wait for the player to go through the interchange, come back and get back.
Really slows it up, doesn't it?
Well, 3 or 4 minutes elapsed. What should effectively happen? As soon as the interchange player comes on, the guy should slot himself in that position where the player came off, and let's get on with the game.
Yeah, Dyson Holland going to centre half back, so the replacement will go to full forward or the forward pocket.
That's smart play by Sandy, making their change while that's happening too. Crow to get onto the ground, so that's a good piece of thinking by the Zebras. First time Crow's been on the ground.
Yes, he won't have long. It's nearly 30 minutes on the clock.
Yes, make a deal out of me, I'm sure. Siren will blow.
Rod Morgan comes on for Springvale. Morgan, who missed the 1990 grand final, he'd been suspended prior to the final series and didn't get to back in, and he's going to get his first touch. The handball goes back to Baldwin. Well, at least Morgan got his hands on the ball. Crow somewhere near it there at the finish. But it's quarter time, and Sandringham have doubled Springvale. But don't get too excited, Zebra fans. Just 3 goals have been kicked. Sandy having the better of it slightly with the breeze. Jogging back in both sets of teams. Tom Alvin to talk to his team. Michael Ford to come down from his eyrie to talk to Springvale. But it's Sandringham, the defending champions, with a goal each from Shane Foley and Robert Walker, who lead at quarter time here at Victoria Park, the VFA Grand Final for 1995. 7 points the difference.
This is not a common case.
McDonnell and Carroll top possession winners with 9 apiece for Springvale. Evans and Caples have 7 each, while for Sandringham, Rennett's 8, Allen 6. At quarter time, just about to get away in the second term. Clark and Ross on the boundary.
Go, Clark.
Right, yes. Well, you heard a lot of what Michael Ford had to say to his players, but after you left, he said discipline, focus and aggression is the way to go. He wants numbers at the ball, and he wants the players to move the ball quickly out of the centre.
Yes, a couple of moves. Smith has got Evans at Brent Smith, and Hanson on to Baldwin. 2 moves by Sandringham to quieten those players.
Foley's kick went straight to Caples. He came back on just before the restart, and Carroll gets the handball away now to Melody, with Morgan having sat down. There's a beautiful pass. Hanson couldn't stop Baldwin on that occasion. And if anybody can kick this goal, he can. Very accomplished in front of the sticks is Peter Baldwin. Wants the breeze to help. Hasn't enough. Is across the line. I think it's a goal for Smith, is it? No.
What a touch, Peter.
No, Smith said a word to the goal umpire, but I don't think he got the all-important boot to it. So first score of the quarter after 1 minute, and it's now 6 points in favour of Sandringham. Nick Murray, who's played most of this final series on the forward line, kicks in to Crow, who couldn't hold it. Freighter again. Crow doesn't mind getting down and dirty, the big ruckman. Tap though straight to Montgomery. Murray has it almost floating over his head, but he handled it well away from Jason Smith, who has not been getting a look in.
Phil, how long do you think Tom Alvin's hairdo would have lasted in some of those, against some of those Port Melbourne sides of the 70s and early 80s?
Yeah, I think they'd have been looking for it, wouldn't they?
Smith, who had his hand on the ball, trapping it underneath Anthony Allen. What a fantastic record for Anthony Allen. 92-94 captain, lifting up the premiership trophy. Clark tried to go again. Foley putting his body in. It's pretty ugly at the moment.
Oh, a lot of ball ups, Peter. A little bit of wind making it hard to get hold of the ball and use it fluently. Kuipert to the right, Angus to the left. Angus swapped with Crow in the ruck.
Clark got his hand to that.
And Phil, how have you been handling the afternoon teas in my absence?
Well, Sam, since you've gone, we haven't had one. We haven't had one here. No, we've been looked after at other grounds. But down here at Collingwood, I thought your arrival today might have caused the cup of tea to come out.
Crow's tap taken by Melody. Bounces it over. Down the Sandringham race goes the ball. Martin Melody, how he'd like to taste a premiership in the VFA after some lean years at Oakley. Now Davison, number 4. Allen is trying to keep him out of the action here and does it well. Leaves the ball behind for Tom Alvin. If it wasn't deliberate, it should have been. But on the wing, Montgomery is having a terrific game. Even though he might not have as many possessions as Rennett's, I think he's been effective.
Good contest.
Crow backing back, but won't get there. This man is the focal point. Brett Evans directly in front.
Yes.
5 marks.
Already emerged in the first quarter is the problem. Murray's doing all right on Jason Smith at full back, but this bloke Evans, Smith hasn't had a touch, but Evans is the worry, as is Baldwin, and they've had their players swapped over. Hanson now has Baldwin and Smith has Evans.
For the first goal of the second quarter.
Good kick.
Breeze bends it through the middle. It's his 36th of the season, first of the grand final. Scores now level.
Well, on that occasion, Peter, the ball carried into the breeze. Justin Crowe had gotten back into the contest, but not back far enough. And really, I think if they look at that again, Sandringham, they'll believe that that's one that snuck away. You'll see the ball here from Montgomery. It's put up high. Now there's Crowe getting back, but not far enough. And look at that. 3 players, Sandringham players, underneath that ball. Not good thinking.
Testing time now for the Zebras. Can Crowe lift his form? He won that tap. It's taken by Foley. Inside 50, Snooks out, bustled by Little. Might have had a hand on the jumper. Jeffs out to Taylor. Thought about giving it to Little. Chose to kick in the Montgomery direction. He's there with Reynolds.
So they really need Snooks and Amy up on the Sandringham forward line to get amongst the play. Just not doing enough.
Not coming down fluently yet, Phil, is it?
No.
The ball taken by the breeze and Walker fisted it back over.
I think, interestingly enough, I suspect that Brian Winton is playing loose in defence. That means they've got the 2 players. It's around about centre-half back, Winton and Martello.
Walker again, but it's taken by Caples to Peacock. Puts it out in front. Good kick towards Evans. He couldn't quite get there. There's Winton, 17, overrunning it. Picked up by Smith. Hooks it back into the middle. Caples there, spoiled by Montgomery. Foley tackled by 3 Springvale Scorpions.
Let's go.
One of them, Simon Clark, the ruckman, on his back. And there's, well, there was Trevor Barker's father, Jack, shivering in the stands here at Victoria Park.
They're very nervous, Ross, that group before the game.
Oh, Foley got one high.
Lucky.
Yes, ducked ahead. And advantage is paid. Alvin. It wasn't much advantage. It was a good tackle by Caples. Turnover taken by Montgomery.
Puts it in the path of Sasha Dyson-Holland. Didn't really bend for it, but gets it back, spoons it out. Well done, Courtney. Well, the ball's loose, but the whistle was beaten. And back for a free kick. Did it well to get away from Williams there. His kick's going to be cut off, though. Brian Winton at arm's length with Brett Evans. Now Brent Smith. Down goes Evans, coming off second best there as he put the bump on Smith. But it's Peacock. Pressure building on Sandringham. It's smothered, though, from Crowe. He misses with the handball. Second line was Reynolds. Crowe's tap taken away by Kevin O'Donnell. Squeezes through the gap and hoists it high. Well played, Smith, knocking it away from Evans. Baldwin to O'Donnell. This will go close. It's better than that. It's a major. They're in front for the first time today, Springvale.
Yes, they're just slick, aren't they? Kevin O'Donnell there putting that one through. It was very good play from Baldwin. Just missed out up in the midfield there, the Zebras. Missed the wayward handballs. Yes, they did, Pete. A couple of wayward handballs, and this side makes you pay. They're very good at that. When you think of Sandringham had the opportunities and couldn't put the goals through, but O'Donnell then, if they're going to kick those ones, Sandringham are in big trouble. They must score goals. They've decided to use a spare man in defence. But how long can you hold out? We're only 7-8 minutes into the quarter.
Frater watching Dennis Knight. Clark runs in and beats Crowe. Alvin took the tap. Off the ground, Crowe. Travelled 10 to Snooks. Mitchelson on the overlap. Very wide to Smith. Way up at half forward now. Short towards Snooks, a bit high for him. Amy, it was there a hand on it? Must have been. Caples got out of trouble. Evaded the tackle beautifully. Long kick in the direction of Baldwin. Mitchelson got a hand on it. Crowe, Hanson. Steps inside. Little chip to his coach in Tom Alvin. On the half-forward flank, quick kick towards Amy. It read it beautifully. Oh, good effort by Jeffs. I thought Amy was going to mark that.
Well, they're the ones that you've really got to hold. I mean, in a tight game like this, the percentages are so important. Springvale kicking that great goal with O'Donnell before, and then Amy missing a chance to square it up the ledger.
Clark, taken by Melody. Peacock. One of the 3 players from the 1990 grand final, looking for a first win. Hansen weighing up his options. Alvin. Clark against Crow. Clark to Taylor. Good use of the ball to Peacock. Hits Melody on the run. Oh, beautifully weighted kick for Sasha Dyson. Is it going to be 50?
Odds on. Got to be.
Yeah. Certain goal now, as long as Sasha Dyson Holland can get up. You see it here. Brave mark and unnecessary from Walker. The mark was well and truly completed.
Well, the silly thing there, Sam, is that Walker, if he wanted to give away the 50 metres, he should have just cleaned him up absolutely, and on that occasion he half cleaned him up.
Sam, you know what's worrying me, as I was thinking the same as Phil.
Well, you rest assured, didn't escape my mind. Yeah, if you're going to get involved in A grade, you've got to play A grade rules.
He really only turned it into a straight 50-metre late collision, whereas he really could have floored him. It would have been certainly a 50, might have been reportable, but he gave away the 50. We'll see it here. You see that Walker does come late, but in the end doesn't finish it off. Look at it here.
Great kick.
Great kick. Now
he could have well and truly stopped.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care that he could have put him out of the game. He didn't need to make contact at all.
No, I know, Peter, but I'm just saying, given that he half went, you know, it's funny.
He had second thoughts.
I thought you stopped being a thug, Phil.
No, I'm not saying I'd agree with him doing it, just...
Crow again. Well, it's outstretched Clark. Carroll got a high one.
This is bad, really, for Sandringham. We're going to start playing the man and giving away free kicks.
To O'Donnell. Kick to Davison. Knight. Davison again. In possession. No chance, though. Oh, well, I thought he did. He dragged it back under, I suppose. Foley. Long to Allen. Quickly to Mitchelson. Was very effective. Service in great condition. Mitchelson bounces. Kicks late away, and Jeff's a good spoil with a fist. Quick roving by Williams. Centering it. Smith with Bergman. Oh! And against Smith, nudging Bergman under the ball.
Alvin can't get there in time. Caples got the call. It came from Damien Carroll. Putting it in front of the running man, and again it's Dyson Holland. Martello pressuring him. Throw in right in front of the rush stand. Outer wing. 2 goal leaders of Springvale. Played nearly 12 minutes in the second quarter. Martello fisting it down. Carroll. And as far as Scott Brannigan, handball out in front of Foley. Did it go out in the full? Bad luck against Springvale there. Herman, one of his rare possessions. He's found Snooks.
He's been quiet. Second mark to Snooks. They really need him to do something. Kicked 8 goals against Port Melbourne. In the final here.
Well, this is a tough task from this pocket. Oh, he's just scored, I think, the behind. So that makes the difference 11 points in favour of Springvale.
Phil, I notice Tom Alvin's now picking up Damien Carroll. It was Herman in the first quarter, and seemed to be proving effective. And quietening Carroll a bit. Bergman leaps, knocks it towards Montgomery.
Great play.
Kicks it very wide towards Evans. Gathers. Walker gives him a push. Montgomery caught by Murray. Frater avoided the tackle. Up towards Tim Scott Brannigan, but Peacock is there. Bustled aside by Alvin. Winton's hand pass was a hard one. Smith was in the way. Brent Smith 34, Jason Smith 34. Carroll was waiting for it. It's pretty tough. Down Goes Carroll with the tackle by Crow. Rennett's all got a severe bump. Oh, Carroll should have been free kicked by Williams. Wasn't paid. The umpire's letting it go. Picked up by Murray. Alvin, bouncing ball. He's tackled almost without it. Oh, free kicks are hard to earn. In goes Clark, and now the umpire will have to bounce.
That was good there.
10 nearly flinched. 10 nearly free kicks there.
I've never seen so many players throwing themselves prostrate and then thumping the ball. There's a lot of this sort of batting the ball along the ground, trying to just put it into the path of a teammate. Conditions making clean possession and delivery difficult. Finally, a knockdown comes to Kane Taylor. Allen with courage. Hanson claimed by Courtney. Williams couldn't pick it up. Nearly halfway through the second quarter. 11-point lead for Springvale.
I missed that move at quarter time, Phil, because Tom Alvin's so quiet. He just would have been suggested to him by Bernie Evans and John Clarkson. He wouldn't have announced it to the team.
And I hope Bernie Evans and John Clarkson have managed to get back into the coach's box over there on the outer side of the ground. Last week at quarter time they came down and the wind blew the door shut. They had to go and find an attendant with a key to let them back in the second quarter.
Must have been a good attendant. They made some good moves.
Just goes to show, Phil.
Perhaps they went for the key and the attendant made their moves.
Although Spirit thought that some of the previous coaches that have occupied that box
Damien Carroll
would be quite content to have remained in there.
Towards the 50-metre line, Hanson flew. Good gather by Reynolds, had to kick under pressure to Caples. He bangs it in 20 metres from goal, 2-on-1. Walker with a hand, but a fist there too. And a rush behind.
Become quite evident, Phil, their respective forward lines. A bit more strike power.
Yes, Sam.
Springvale.
Yeah, they look dangerous, don't they? Really, they've got to work very hard, Sandringham. They've got a spare man in defence as well. Which puts their forward line under great pressure.
Nick Murray goes towards Crow. Coming in from the side, Caples. Foley. The rainmaker. You'd hate to be underneath that. Clark took it away. Ordinary old handball from Melody. Oh. Little's kick finds Caples. A daisy cutter. Martello to Snooks with a bit of space. Oh, well, they paid nothing over on the other wing, and there was certainly nothing in that.
Oh, that just makes a joke of the game of football, that, honestly.
O'Donnell doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Peacock.
Oh, Ross,
for a man in the pocket, just too long for Jason Smith. I thought it was shoulder on shoulder there.
God, you can't bump players.
Well, watch it again. In the head.
No, shoulder. I reckon he's hit him on the shoulder. Look, O'Donnell's not even, he didn't even feel it. Nothing in it at all.
Courtney takes it. Williams the tackler. Davison goes in strongly. Martello tackling well. Alvin. And another throw in, 17 minutes into the second quarter.
So was it a head or a shoulder?
And Snook's off now.
Yes, well, he struggled. Lee Snooks been disappointing on the forward line. Angus gone to the forward line. Can he do some good?
Dyson Holland rucking against Martello. Williams and Courtney battle for it. Another rush behind.
And you just get the feeling things could really open up, Sammy, don't you, for Springvale?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt they're the better side. Just Sandringham are trying to pinpoint their targets. In these blustery conditions, it's impossible, and they just really haven't devised a game plan where they're getting numbers to the ball, leaving themselves isolated.
Crow again is the target, but they just come from all sides. That does leave somebody free on the ground, of course. And Reynolds' kick has been run onto by Sugar Winter.
Keep going, Sugar, baby.
Not Sugar Baby Love, he nearly mucked it up. Foley. Amiet's clear. He's called back his teammate, Tim Scott Brannigan, who now sets away Amiet. More difficult angle, but in these conditions, you've got to get as close to the goal as possible, kicking into the breeze, and he's kicking right into the teeth of it here. If he does kick a goal, then you can expect more from him today.
It's against the play too. Springvale have been doing everything. Sandy really struggling. He's got to kick it out to the left. She does. And
through.
Goals. Beautiful goal.
Well, that'll give him confidence, and he runs on that. the leading goal kicker this season for Sandringham. Amiot brings up his 60th, just 4 behind Danny Sexton, the leading goal kicker this season. But Phil, they saw 2 goals kicked against them in less than 10 minutes, Sandringham. They then clogged it up and have got 1 back.
Yeah, so a little bit lucky the way the ball spilled out before from Reynolds and ended up with Winton, who's playing in defence and run down, which is good play by Winton.
7 points, the margin. Crow reaches against Clark. Out by Melody. Martello. Strength in the pack. Little way. Oh, Herman put the hand out. Little stood back waiting for the half volley. Herman kicks quickly towards Amiot. Jeffs again spoils. Amiot gets taken out. High, says the umpire.
There you go. What are these free kicks for? Honestly, you couldn't play football if you keep playing free kicks like that. You cannot contest. No bumping. No throwing of the body.
On the 50-metre line is Montgomery. Here's the free.
Alvin couldn't hold it. Knight gave it across to Melody. Montgomery, eyes on the ball for a good 20 metres as he ran headlong. That won't make it to Taylor. Herman the mark. Tom Alvin struggling. Just 4 kicks.
Yes, he is not in the game at all.
Herman kicks it towards him. Carroll, beautiful handball. He split it. No look handball from Caples to Peacock, who's had his kick charged down by Williams. Crow couldn't gather. Knight misses with the kick off the ground. Crow gets away from Davison, but the kick's been marked by Bergman.
Bergman in the centre square defensive side. Runs past Smith. Long, Winton in front. Good mark to Sugar. Lead out wide from Reynolds. Bring up the inside wing. Steps inside, but it's Angus will have to fly. At ground level was Montgomery. Angus got him high. Taylor stood his ground. Peacock will get the first free kick. Tim Scott-Brannigan deserved the second. Peacock.
It was there. The first one, yeah, yes, as was the second.
Peacock. Crow in front. Baldwin spoiling. Hanson. Courtney. Williams right with him. Reynolds kept it in.
Brilliant play, Timmy Reynolds. Brilliant play.
So it's only 7 points. Springvale, despite, Sandy are hanging on as they did in the second semi. Sam?
I feel interesting, that loose man role in defence. A lot of people don't quite understand it at times. You don't just park yourself back there. Right. You've got to really work hard, and you can be an effective player running up the ground.
Carroll's kick forward. Courtney's head went shuddering back like he'd copped one. Herman throwing his arms around, and he's lucky not to be penalised.
A little bit of, you're dead right, Kicker, and Winton's actually done well, hasn't he? He's come up and gotten into some good, important contests. He's an experienced player.
Scott-Brannigan got the handball to the prone Crow. He gave it to Mitchelson. Alvin just spoons it out onto the wing. Montgomery did well to get his kick away, but it's going from half-back line to half-back line at the moment. Shane Foley's kick into the middle. It is dangerous, but Mitchelson doesn't let him down. Well, he who dares wins. They might get something out of it. Winton towards Amiot, who doubles back. Where's the ball?
Oh, well
Jeff's
done,
caught.
Smith.
Smith's got it out to Amiot. Being forced backwards all the time. Is he true with the kick?
Oh, and there was Sugar. Winton had gone all the way to the goal square. We might just catch Winton there, just out of screen he was. Oh, sitting there, Kicker, wasn't he?
Oh, he's
the big dinosaur, just calling for it.
He's entitled to be furious with Amiot.
Oh, what a performance by Winton there to cover that amount of ground from half
Exactly the point we're making, Phil.
Bergman short to Michael Jeffs. Back to Bergman. Melody. Dennis Knight. Too easy. To half forward. Hanson with Baldwin. Good effort. Jason Smith. Oh, Davison to O'Donnell. Goal.
Well, he's a good player, O'Donnell, isn't he? He's so smooth over the ground. That's his second goal. You look at the opportunity that Amy had to stitch up a goal, and they didn't, and Springvale makes them pay. Very slick play there. See it here. Hanson under a bit of pressure. Baldwin. Smith gets it out. Davison. And shut the gate.
Different emphasis from the coaching bench. Davison brought in purely because of the weather conditions.
Yes,
the ball's
good
going to be
call.
on the ground a lot. Sandringham have got both Crow and Angus out on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, Angus replacing.
Kuipert on, Scott Brannigan off.
Mitchelson's kick, I think it hit Clark. Crow knocks it down to Foley. Herman couldn't take possession. Montgomery's really got on top of Reynolds this quarter.
Snooks was the man I was looking for, with Angus replacing Lee Snooks, who's virtually a key position player.
Brent Smith having a rest. Had chronic hamstring problems prior to the finals. Peacock bats it down. Montgomery.
Well
Bounce
done.
hand pass to Melody. Gives it back to Caples. Always available, Jason Caples. And a booming kick. Dyson Holland. I don't think he ended up touching it in the end.
Wind really getting up now. Very blustery. Strongest of the afternoon, I'd suggest. And perhaps the tough finals campaign starting to tell for the Zebras. A few of them looking a bit tired against the fresh legs of the Scorpions. Dyson Holland in front. Melody had an impact. Taylor caught. Did he have the ball? And Herman's over the line. And we're into time on the second quarter.
Yes, they must hold on, Sandringham. Stretches out to another goal. Makes it very, very difficult, I think.
And Crow's at the back, heading it towards the boundary line. Alvin just paddles it over. He does look tired. And Taylor's head wrenched back. There's Alvin marking Damien Carroll. Carroll has had 15 possessions, Alvin 8. And a free kick.
To Crow against Clark.
Crow's having the better of Clark.
Yeah, going all right, Peter.
High kick towards Angus. Easily outmarking Little there. Nothing to kick to whatsoever. Frater trying to grub it into attack. Caples having a picnic on half-back. Clark's free of Crow here. Booms one high, not so direct.
Oh, Frater there. That was very poor play, wasn't it?
Phil, they looked up forward at half forward there. There was absolutely nothing.
That's true. Well, they've got one player short, Peter. That's why they've got a big problem there. Makes it very, very hard. You've got to run the ball. You put one short, one in defence. You must run with numbers.
The Scorpions in attack, but it's taken almost by Alvin. He preferred to bat it towards the boundary line, looking for that half-time siren. And the question will be, how will Sandringham go over that half-time in the third quarter? How tired will they feel? And they cool down. Clark to Courtney. Quick to boot.
Well done.
Winton's there. Should have marked that. But it's blustery. And give him...
Well, he got two hands to it, though, Ross. If you're going to put a bloke back there, he's got to be sound. There's Winton getting up. Was a little bit tricky, but he's got to hold those. And shake his head, knowing he probably should have collected it.
He flies for the ruck. Grabbed by Evans. And again, a lot of play in that defensive forward pocket. The wind blowing right into that pocket from the southeast. In front of the Social Club. Brett Evans, 29. Kick one goal. O'Donnell has 2 for the Scorpions. Clark almost uncontested. Grabbed by Foley. Can they clear it out of this danger zone, Sandringham? Scott Brannigan headed for the line and found it.
Sandringham just content to play down the last couple of minutes out of bounds.
They're hanging on, aren't they?
Hanging on grimly.
2 goals in arrears.
28 minutes played. Scott Brannigan's kicked forward. O'Donnell,
Oh,
desperate.
well
Mitchelson
played.
on hands and knees. Terrific tackling from both sides there.
Oh, yeah, good play. And really, Sandy there, of course, Peter, one player short. Capel's the loose man. So they had to work very, very hard.
Well, there are 4 players in the 50-metre arc to Sandringham's attacking zone. The bulk of the players around the ball here on centre wing. Montgomery's high kick, Hanson. Goes back after and nabs Taylor. O'Donnell couldn't get the hand pass away.
Oh, they're fierce. The Zebras.
The Zebras are showing what they're made of.
Well, they are,
It could
Peter.
easily get blown out a little bit before half-time.
They know they have to just hang on. They've got to get to half-time with just these 2 goals between them and the Vales.
Hanson has it kicked out of his grasp by Knight. Hasn't seen a lot of the ball, but he uses it well. Davison, the breeze will bring it back, but not enough.
Yes, and Anthony Allen, it's like a wound-up spring, isn't it, the game, just at the moment? Is it going to burst and carry the Vales on? Can Sandringham do enough?
Nick Murray looks for Walker, but Martello flew over the top of the pack. Out by Clark. Carroll was quick with the hands as usual. Knight hooks it back very efficiently. Right on the siren, and Davison comes over the top. Williams getting congratulations.
I know how he got his blood nose, Ross, on the bench. He was practicing those marks up in the stratosphere. And he's made a pretty tough start. He just bounced up. And the Scorpions, they had the better of the first half. They didn't take the lead in the match until the 8-minute mark of that second quarter when Kevin O'Donnell got his first goal. He followed it up with another. Dyson Holland and Evans kicked goals in that term. It was 4-1 in the second quarter. They turn a 7-point deficit into a 13-point lead at half-time. The favourites at very prohibitive odds today, the Springvale Scorpions. They're 3-0 against Sandringham this season and halfway towards winning that first premiership since 1987. The VFA Grand Final for 1995. At half-time, Springvale leads Sandringham by 13 points.
Newfoundland. Once these waters teemed with cod, now the nets are empty.
There won't be a tadpole left in the world's oceans.
Communities dying from the mistakes of the past. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre reborn. Foreign Correspondent, 9:30 Tuesday.
Moving house is the most traumatic thing you can go through.
You got children?
No. He never died, Ray.
Ghosts don't exist.
No? There is something in my house.
Taking you to the edge of terror. The new series, Chiller. Thursday.
Victoria Park, Collingwood. It's the VFA Grand Final for 1995. If you're just joining us, this is the situation. Springvale, in a very much wind-affected game, have had the best of the first half, lead by 13 points. They've used the ball better up forward. When the opportunities have come their way, they've managed to slot the all-important goals, Sam, and with 8 goals having been kicked, Springvale certainly in the driver's seat right now, I think you'd say.
Well, Pete, when you look at the context of the game, there's only there's only been about 8 goals scored. A lead of 2 goals is a very, very healthy score. A healthy lead, I should say. And, yeah, Springvale have looked a better side. They look more potent up forward. And they've made the most of their opportunities. By comparison, Sandringham, they've had their opportunities, but squandered a couple of excellent scoring opportunities up there. And really, in games like grand finals, you just really got to make the most of it. The sides' commitments to the 1%ers, the tough, hard, in-close things have been terrific on both sides. They're to be commended on that. But at the end of the day, I guess you need a little bit of polish to get you home. And that's just where, at the moment, Springvale just seem to have that little bit of edge with Evans up forward and 1 or 2 others that are very, very good.
Okay, well, we know that 13 points in the context of any game is not a lot, and especially when you're playing against Sandringham. They have produced the heroics this final series. Can they do it again in the second half? We're going to take a look at the Telstra Mobile Net Sprint final for 1995 now, the richest 400-metre sprint race in the country, and it's a very classy field. We've got a female through for the first time in VFA Grand Final history, and she's off 66 metres, and she's already got plenty of support from the backers here today. She's at 8th, Tanya Fry, but joint favourites are Forthan off 8 metres, and Dallimore off 32. Forthan off 28. Cara McKerrow is your caller, and Wilcox the back marker. Good afternoon, Cara, and well, looking pretty even as far as the money's concerned.
Yes, it's an even race indeed, Peter. There's a few runners probably to look for in the middle of the pack. I'd suggest Simon Forthan, who flew home in final number 3 last week off the 28-metre mark, will be very hard to beat, along with big Paul Dallimore, who we remember had that dramatic finish with Tanya Fry in week 2. And Tanya herself will be very hard to catch way out there in front of 66 metres. But I'll quickly run through the field for everyone at home. Andrew Wilcox in the red off 3 metres. Cameron Vale will be off the white, in the white off 26 metres. Simon Forthan, hard to beat today. He's in the blue off 28. Tim Cram in the green, he'll be off 28 metres. Paul Dallimore, he won in week 2. He's off 32 metres and should prove hard to beat. One of the favourites for today. Then we move on to Darren Wishart. He's the pink off 40 metres. Clinton Steer, a distance runner, but he's went back to sprinting for this particular series. He's off 40 metres. Phil Severs, who won in a dramatic finish in week number 1, he's off 42. Steve Johnson in the purple off 44. The purple's been the lucky colour the last couple of weeks. Colin Wilkinson in the tan, he's off 60 metres. He won in week 3. And finally out to Tanya Fry in the light blue. She's off 66 metres. So there's a long margin between Wilcox and Fry. 63 metres Andrew Wilcox gives Tanya Fry. Yep. Just a few things about the runners. Tanya Fry, she was an unlucky second in week number 2. A very controversial photo finish with the runner who was flying home that week, Paul Dallimore, who is equal favourite today. Some other runners to look for, I'd suggest Simon Forthan, who flew home last week. If you remember, the runner who was flying home in the white and had a dramatic finish with Colin Wilkinson, who is also in today's final. He'll be very hard to beat. Andrew Wilcox, a few more things about him, the runner in the red. He's actually ran in a numerous amount of national amateur sprint finals. In fact, his fastest time over the distance is 46.4 seconds, which is quite a decent run indeed. In fact, that was good enough to get him into a top 4 position in the national finals last March in New South Wales. And it is going to be a task for him to chase this field today, but he should prove very hard to beat. He'll be coming on. In fact, the blustery conditions may even assist Andrew today. Now, you'll see the runners are milling around at the start. And remember today they're running for $1,000 first. Okay. They're running for $1,000 and a $1,000 mobile phone from Telstra Mobile Net. So we're going to individually introduce the runners here. And leading out is Tanya Fry. She's off the 66-metre mark. She was a very unlucky second in week number 2. Last week she came 3rd in final number 3, and she is going to be very hard to catch off the 66-metre mark. Second out is Colin Wilkinson, who won in week number 3 in the tan. He's running off 60 metres. Another runner who'll prove hard to catch. Steve Johnson, he come into prominence the last couple of weeks, making the last 2 finals. He'll be running in the purple off 44. Phil Severs, a winner in week 1. He's been around the circuit for a while, Phil. He's running off 42 and will run in the grey. Clinton Steer will run in the black from 40 metres, the distance runner. Moving back then to Darren Wishart in the pink. He's expected to run quite well today, Darren. In fact, has made a few of these finals in the past. He'll be running off 40 metres. One of the fancies for the day, Paul Dallimore, the big runner. There, Paul Dallimore off 32 metres in the yellow. He'll be very easy to spot through the field. Then back to Tim Cram in the green off 28 metres. Tim made the final in week 1 and was very close up and is expected to run well today. Back then to Simon Forthan, one of the favourites who ran a terrific race in week number 3 and was flying home at the finish. Further back to Cameron Vale, the runner from Anglesey in the white off the 26-metre mark. And the final runner to introduce will be Andrew Wilcox, running off the 3-metre mark in the red. And he's got a big task ahead of him to chase Tanya Fry, giving her 63 metres. So the runners are positioning at the start. We're nearly ready for a start. Watch for Wilcox in the red. Now the runner's been held up for a moment there. In fact, the children who are on the track, could you just move off the track for a moment, please? Anyone on the track in front of the runners, could you please move, please? Now it's take two. They're away in the Telstra Mobile Net Sprint Series for 1995, and Andrew Wilcox moves out quickly from the back. Tanya Fry will lead as they go down the back straight. She's got about 6 metres on Colin Wilkinson. Now look at the runner moving quickly in the pink around to get into third position. That's Darren Wissard. He's flying along with Steve Johnson in fourth in the purple there. Then there's a gap to Clinton Steer in the black, followed by Phil Seathers. Tim Cram runs on strongly in the green into seventh, followed by Big Paul Delamore in the yellow, followed by Cameron Vale and Simon fourth in the blue. And Wilcox got a lot of work to do from back there. I don't think he can catch them. Tanya Fry leads, turning for home from Colin Wilkinson. Steve Johnson in the purple moves up in the third, and in fact he takes the lead halfway down the straight. Steve Johnson's got about 2 metres to Clinton Steer in the black. Running down the outside is Phil Seavers in the grey, but Steve Johnson will lead all the way here. A great win to Steve Johnson. Delamore flashes home in the yellow for second, followed by Phil Seavers. But it's Steve Johnson's victory in the Telstra Mobile Net Sprint Series for 1995, and he'll be the recipient of a mobile phone from Telstra Mobile Net. Terrific win there to Steve Johnson, Peter. He worked his way slowly through the series, but he's timed his run right for today, that's for sure.
Had the wind behind him coming home, and well, Tanya Fry probably could hear the footsteps. He looks far the stronger, doesn't he, here?
He does. He ran a really good heat last week and was again close up in the final, but it's topped him off nicely. We had a few runners running home, and again,
I think if we had 420-metre races, that Delamore would have won just about every week. He's flashed home like this on every occasion. This time finishes about 1.5 metres short, but looks like he got second.
I think he did, but he's a perfect example of a runner who'd probably love to run his races in lanes. He finds a bit of traffic, Peter. But yeah, great win to Steve Johnson.
Skills, though, isn't it? Keeping out of trouble.
It is, and Steve Johnson did that to a T.
Well, Steve Johnson at 10-1 off 44 metres. And there's Chris Perry, former stall gift winner.
Yep, Steve
ushering him over to Ross Booth for the interview.
And this time not a photo finish, Peter.
No, and a lot of people will be glad of that. The judges amongst them. Ross Booth with our winner.
Yes, it's a very exhausted looking but exhilarated Steve Johnson. Well done, Steve. And Jenny Burwood from Telstra has all the prizes and checks. Jenny.
Well done, Steve. Congratulations. On behalf of Telstra and MobileNet, I'd like to congratulate you on that fantastic run. I'm glad it was you and not me running around that track. I'd like to present you with an Ericsson digital mobile phone on behalf of Telstra, and the winner's check, which I'm sure you'll find something to do with.
Certainly will.
And if I can hand this back to you, I'll love to put this cash on you. Now left arm on, Cole. There we go. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Well done, Steve. Your biggest win?
Possibly. I've had a few. About a dozen or so. I've been running for about 15 years. I've actually made 3 finals here in this series, and been running in it for about at least 15 of the 19 years it's been going. So I had to get my turn eventually.
Terrific, yeah. Well done. In the windy, difficult conditions here at Victoria Park, Steve Johnson, winner of the Telstra Mobile Net Sprint Series.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations to Steve, and thank you, Ross. Well, the VFA competition undergoing some changes next year, and 2 country teams coming into the expanded statewide league, and I'm sure that's going to please our special guest, the Minister for Sport, Recreation and Racing in Victoria, Tom Reynolds, always a great supporter of the VFA, and, well, the grand final at the moment. Hasn't been pretty, but I guess the favourite in front.
Well, on the other side, Sandringham's still in it, though, Peter, and it's a great struggle, like a lot of grand finals, evenly matched teams, giving it their very all. They're throwing themselves in without fear or favour, and it's a great spectacle to watch in that it is a struggle.
What's your feeling from the country about two teams coming in to contest the VicSafe Cup next year?
Well, Victoria is now a very small place. We've got mobile phones and things like that. The place is condensed, and the fact that you've got Traralgon and North Ballarat coming in is going to be of great advantage to our country listeners. There's no doubt about that, and to country football itself. It'll give those bigger towns set recruiting areas as such, and they'll be able to further the aims of country footballers, which, after all, is where we get most of our footballers anyway.
And the VicSafe message going out to the country: stop crime, get involved. It's got to be, well, everybody in there and pitching to try and stop the crime rate or bring it down, which is, well, seems to be the trend anyway. But
Yes.
Can't be complacent.
Yes, Peter. The VicSafe message is, I think, of paramount importance in the first instance. The police can't do it on their own. They need all the help that they can get from the community, all working together to get crime down, make this a safer place for us all. Secondly, the greatest avenue of getting that message across is via the VFA and the ABC, and I thank them very, very much for their efforts over the last 4 years, and I hope it continues. I hope VicSafe continues to promote this message and the VFA by sponsorship in the years to come. But it's getting that message right across to our young people, after all.
Yeah, juvenile crime is really the worry at the moment, I think, isn't it? That's one area where we don't seem to be winning.
That's right. They're over-represented in the statistics, and the more we can get the message across to them that really the police are the goodies in the world, and they're here to help you. And as they are and as they do, and I think it's a tremendous message, and it'll be great to get it right across Victoria, because obviously the Latrobe Valley and Ballarat will be interested in it this coming year when you telecast it again.
OK, we certainly will, Tom. And, well, you've got to be down there for the presentation of the VicSafe Cup at the end of the game. So let's hope we have a great second half.
Yes, looking forward to that, Peter, and may the best side win. As I said at the lunchtime, the best side will win, except the only thing that's certain is the umpires will never be right.
That's dead right. They'll certainly be unpopular with one side of the equation. Tom Reynolds, the Minister of Sport in Victoria. Well, we had a lucky winner of our Goals and Mark of the Year competition, who, with three friends, her family, I believe, have come to the grand final today. That's Jan Hurst, and she's down with Clark Hansen on the boundary line.
Yes, Jan and I are both freezing down here, but very windy conditions. But Jan, congratulations on winning the competition. Are you a big competition enterer?
No, no, that was about the second one I've been in.
And you won it, so that was good. And you'll be happy to see that Howard Cameron won the Goal of the Year, because you're a Port Melbourne supporter.
Yeah, I am, yes.
How long have you been supporting Port Melbourne?
A long time, many years.
And who was your favourite footballer from Port Melbourne?
Freddie Cook.
Yes, I think a lot of people really thrilled to Freddie playing up there at full forward. What about Phil Cleary? Did you used to go and boo him?
No, not really.
I thought you might have said you did. No. Now, who are you barracking for here today?
Springvale, of course.
And do you reckon they're going all right?
Yeah, they are, but... Yeah.
Well, you said to me you might change to Sandringham because you've picked losers so far this weekend, and you might go on to Sandringham.
Well, I might do that, yes.
And what do you enjoy about coming to the VFA?
Well, it's sort of, it's more like old-time football. The atmosphere's more sort of friendly and family-orientated.
Yes, and that's what it's all about, VFA football. Jan Hurst, our winner of our Goal and Mark of the Year competition, and it's back to you, Peter.
Well, good to see Port Melbourne represented in one way here today, and Coburg are as well. You probably heard his name. This is Mark Porter, the Coburg ruckman, who has certainly got a lot of people talking this season. And congratulations today, Mark, presented with the Round Fothergill medal for the most promising younger player in the VFA. Well done.
Thanks very much, Peter. Yeah, it was a great honour to be awarded that trophy. And
there's Big Barry Round to put the medal around your neck. You spoke to the gathering today. Barry Round, Brownlow Liston medalist, and the Round Fothergill is one that can set you on to a career of bigger and better things. I know that the AFL clubs have already talked to you. You said you wanted to get your schooling taken care of, and were very keen to play at Coburg this year.
Oh, yeah, that was my main reason for playing at Coburg, was sort of my schooling, which I am undertaking human movement studies at RMIT at Bundoora.
A lot of people have been studying your movement this year, trying to work a way of stopping you. You haven't got any hints for them?
No.
You sum up your season. You started off very well, and well, it in the middle of the season might have dropped off a little bit, but then picked it up again towards the finish.
Yeah, I think I had a rib injury through the middle of the season, and I'd say it had a bit to do with a few troubles that I had there.
Well, as I say, you were somebody that the opposition were looking to try and nullify right from the start. What are you going to do next year? In the Lions jumper again?
Quite possibly. I really can't say at the moment. I
You
don't
might
know.
put yourself up for the draft, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You will?
Possibly, yeah. I haven't decided.
You haven't decided?
Yeah.
OK, well, you've got a few weeks to think about it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, you're going to see more of him one way or the other, that's certain. Well done this season, Mark. You've been a breath of fresh air in the competition. Well done.
Thank you.
Mark Porter, young ruckman from up the King Valley in, well, the north east of Victoria, and he is going to be one to watch from now on. Well, at that lunch, Ken Gannon, the managing director of the VFA, spoke. On October the 4th, the decision is going to be made, as well as the expansion into the country next year. There's going to be further rationalisation in the city, with one metropolitan team to jump to be dropped out of the 9 that contested the VFA this year. Ken spoke to a very interested gathering before today's game.
Welcome also to representatives of the media here today. It's been a hard year for everyone getting a lot of exposure in the media, and that's something that we're going to have to work harder on, especially to the ABC, who have done a great job presenting the competition again. And just gauging by the TV ratings and the people that are interested in this competition who watch each week on Channel 2 on Saturday afternoon, there is certainly a lot of interest, and that interest has to be built upon. And we look forward to doing that next year as we try to promote Victorian football. Speaking of next year, the board would firstly like to thank all the clubs for their cooperation during the last 12 months as we've tried to prepare for 1996. I don't want to labour every particular issue here today. It's not the right forum to do that as we prepare for a grand final. And we've taken the opportunity to write down some words in the Victorian Footballer so that people can read some of the thoughts that are going through our minds as we look to plan for the future. And that article was put there not just for the people in this room, but for everyone who comes to the football today and who might read it at home with their friends or whatever. Those supporters of the VFA are very much the clubs, the people behind the clubs, and we look forward to giving them something to continue to follow for a long time to come, as it has been in the past. But it is worth emphasising a couple of points beyond those comments in the text of the footballer. There will be a full report given on the future structure of the VFA to the club presidents on Wednesday, the 4th of October. It will be the basis for a new look state league, complementing the Victorian-based AFL clubs. It will be about attracting more players to play in Victoria at a high level, not going to other states to play that game of football if they don't get drafted to the AFL. Much has been said about Victorian football recently, and I'd just like to make a couple of wide comments on Victorian football, because a lot of people have a lot to say in that area about numbers, about promotion, about getting people to play the game, because that's Victoria's real big responsibility for Australian rules football. Most people playing the game played in Victoria, and we know that we have to be successful for the game to be truly successful in a national environment. Numbers are up in Victorian football, and those numbers aren't something manufactured at the offices of the VFA or in AFL House. They're with the Victorian Football Country League, the Metropolitan League, the amateurs, who run football at all junior levels. It's their numbers that say the game is up, with 100 new teams.
Ken Gannon, not really giving anything away. It's going to be the 4th of October that the final decision is made. We're ready to go. In the second half, Sandringham have to make up a 13-point deficit. Phil Cleary, how are they going to do it?
Well, they're just going to have to keep working hard, Peter. I don't think they can get out of this one and win the game, but this third quarter will tell. They would need to lead by 2 or 3 goals, I would think, to have any chance of winning the game.
Elvin bats the ball out to Crow. If anyone can get back into this, Sandringham can. Remember, in the last quarter last year, they came back from a 28-point deficit. to win the game against Box Hill. Walker thumps the ball down. Rennett's tried to break the tackle first and was claimed by Knight. Kick charge down from Tim Scott Brannigan. Leelnors out in the open spaces. Courtney kicks it off the ground over the boundary line. Ross Booth and Clark Hansen have been around the rooms.
Yes, John Clarkson at Sandringham calling out, keep going till time on. It's not lost to Len. Still in it. An unofficial report, Clark, that Simon Clark has been reported.
Well, there's one for you, but in the Springvale rooms, very, very quiet and tense. Michael Ford, the emphasis of his speech was to just stick to the game plan and discipline.
Mitchelson. One thing's for sure, Sandringham will attack. They won't lay down and take what's coming their way. They'll try and set the agenda. Oh, met very hard there was Herman. Handball came out from Winton. Now the whistle went before the handball was accepted. It's behind play. Oh! Now was Winton decked after he got the ball away, Phil?
Yes, but the ball went. But then there was a free kick. But I'll tell you in a minute just what's happened here.
There's a Springvale player down.
Little, I think it is.
O'Donnell kicks the ball out to the flank. And maybe we can try and clean up what happened there. We saw the umpire look back immediately and he blow his whistle after Brian Winton shot the handball out.
I think Winton and Little were involved in a little stoush there, Peter. Was there a report?
Well, he's a bit groggy there, Adrian Little.
Oh, he's all right now.
He, in fact, is the player responsible for David McGeorge not being here in the grand final. There's not a lot of Little in terms of muscle, but very strong, very bony, and the bump he delivered in the second semi-final resulted in a punctured lung for David McGeorge. The umpires are going to try and put a firm hand on it now.
Yes, well, Winton really took it up to the Springvale boys there at half forward. And so they need to really, it looked like the thing might erupt, but it didn't. Settle down again. Little's okay. Just maybe a couple of punches thrown.
Hansen's kick through the hands of Bergman. Snooks as hell when he didn't have it.
Do they need him to lift, Peter?
Amiet's lead. I think the pass was for Amiet, but Tim Scott Brannigan filling in there. Kicking with the breeze, he can kick this goal.
They must make every post a winner, Peter. He asked me what have they got to do. They can't afford a lot of mistakes in this third quarter. In the first quarter, they missed a lot of opportunities. But in the third quarter, 13 points down, they must goal at every opportunity.
For his 29th goal of the season, the breeze will help it. Has it got the legs? I don't think so. Capel's touched it.
And they're the sort of goals that you really must kick.
Scott Brannigan, who was a little proppy at the end of that second semi-final. Well, they were down to about 16 men on that occasion. I think Hansen's done a good job on Baldwin since quarter time.
Yes,
Phil.
he has. And Walker's now gone on to Evans. They've realised they've got to close him. And I think, Ross, remember back a couple of weeks, Walker took on Evans, I think, went to the back line in one of those games. What was that game? The second semi, was it?
Yes.
I think Walker came on in that game.
Yeah.
We've got another blood rule, have we? I know. I think there's been a report,
yes.
And I think Winton might be the man. The umpire's just been over informing this duo that one for
well, they've got to check
the other.
Yes, because if he is reported twice, of course, he's ordered off the ground.
And by Handley making that report.
But he's on two different occasions, not by two umpires.
Kick out on the... No, not out on the full.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Ross.
Amiet will take the kick. From outside 50, tight on the boundary line, but Breeze would be behind him from that position. Kick one goal in the second quarter. He is usually a very good kick for goal.
Yes, he's into the teeth. Oh, is he on the scoring side here?
I think he is, Phil.
Yes, this
Breeze behind him. Inside 50. Well, he's done it, has he? Just wide. Just wide, but good effort from Steve Amiet. 1 goal 2. And Rod Morgan and Chris Davison sit on the Scorpions bench.
Shane Bergman. No danger to Carroll. Put it in front of Caples. Nearly got it. He battled on well. Herman's handball on the bounce to Snooks. Frater. Far side.
Chance to be a hero there. Frater, but he wasn't able to kick the goal.
Tom Kuipert with Bergman.
Must kick at least 4 or 5 in this quarter, I reckon. The Zebras.
Breeze gets that throw in. It only went about 10 metres in from the line. And spectators there are getting lots of action in front of the Social Club. Rugged up against the strong breeze. Maximum of about 14 in Melbourne today. I don't think it's got there. Again, Foley had to fly because the ball didn't travel very far. The goal umpire at the boundary umpire will have to try a bit harder. Get it in a bit further, Phil.
Yes, he should come in a couple of metres, Ross.
And Crow in ruck against Clark.
He'll build the biceps.
It's a better one. Beat the 2 ruckmen. They went in earlier, closer. O'Donnell to Peacock. He's collared by Allen. Didn't have much of a chance though, Phil. Out to Foley from Crow. Good effort by Little. And was that out on the full? Foley trying to get rid of the ball. O'Donnell and Foley now clash. And play goes on. Bergman takes the clearing kick in towards Clark, who was held by Crow. Advantage is called to Melody. Good hand pass to Taylor, in turn to Montgomery through the middle.
Trouble.
3 bounces. Oh, he's lost it. Will it sit for him? In trouble. Williams puts the tackle on. Attacking the ball well was Hanson, but now it springs to Baldwin. He thumps it into about 20 metres from goal. Evans and Walker, and Evans too strong overhead. Takes his 6th mark.
Yes, and the ball, as we saw in the first quarter, the ball holding up into the breeze. Evans in front, or a free kick anyway. Walker got no chance, got to play from in front. And this bloke really is probably the difference between the 2 sides on the day.
1 goal 1 so far to Brett Evans. Stabs at it.
Goal.
Allows for the breeze, which brings it back. 2 goals 1.
And that could be a crunching goal by the Vales. Brett Evans on screen. He's been very effective today. Not only the possessions he's had, he's taken 6 marks, but he's now occupied 3 players. He's into his 3rd opponent. Smith, Hanson, and now Walker. You see even Walker here has got a height advantage. Can't contain him.
And I thought Montgomery, after making a muck of the bounce, followed up well to recover and regain the ball.
He's been terrific since quarter time, Montgomery. Again, the bounce favours one of the ruckmen. Crow palming it down to Knight, who has not been given a centimetre by Frater, who lays the tackle on Melody. Martello's got some time to try and find somebody. It's 2 on 1 here. Allen trying to hold him off was Peacock. It runs nicely for Foley. What a fine tackle. Well, if Little was rocked by that incident earlier on, you wouldn't know it.
Beautiful play there. Foley there caught, trying to come back inboard. But Little just went for the body. There he is on screen. Lean, isn't he?
Yeah, grasping the shears in the thin, bony hands.
Yes,
I think
that's right, Peter.
He's the man that was modelled on. There's the kick-off from Herman.
In Vermont.
Oh, it used to be rural. That's a kick out from Bergman to Melody, who's been out of sorts today. Well, they're there, though, with the bobbling ball. Again, a poor kick from Peacock.
Just getting stronger, the Vales. Just attempting to snuff out Sandringham's spirit now as Sandringham kicks in the 3rd quarter with the breeze. In the quarter, they must hit the front in if they're to win the game.
Big oomph from the boundary umpire. Good throw in. Nice tap by Clark. Down to Carroll. In front, Baldwin. Off Hanson. Pops it up towards Jason Smith. Murray edges him back. Walker over the top. Back there, Martello, chased by Evans, in trouble off the ground. Leelnors. Oh, great tackle from Tim Scott-Brannigan. Still danger. Jason Smith, caught by Martello. Evans a chance now, and Murray rushes him through the goal line.
Holding the ball. Very good tackle by Nick Murray there. Very good tackle.
He saved their bacon twice there, Murray.
Yes. Been pretty
Took
effective
his man
today.
Smith right under the ball, didn't he? And then got back there to thwart that dangerous situation as Clark goes the mark. If he got a third touch, it would have been a mark. Baldwin shot it to Knight. Hasn't had any effect. Herman has been very ineffective today. Oh, is Mitchelson held back by O'Donnell. Doesn't stop Darren Mitchelson, though. Arriving Snooks. Here's the lead from Amiot. Yes!
Poor precision football there from Snooks, and really Lee Snooks has got to lift his game. That was a great piece of work from him. Steve Amiot, 6 and 2. Another player the side really depends on. Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass. Must goal.
17 points down, Amiot's team. He knows how important this one is. Didn't give it enough of a chance. It's a poor kick, Phil. They've all travelled about a goal's width from left to right, and he kicked it at the middle of the goal.
He did. You've really got to put the ball out to the left.
1 goal 3 today for Steve Amiot.
16 points the margin. Bergman goes up the middle.
It's a dangerous kick in.
To Clark. Falls to Herman. Damien Carroll. Winton in trouble. Courtney tried a quick hand pass. Foley. Crow doesn't game for goal, just goes short to coach Tom Alvin. Well, good shot of the distance and the angle there. And with a man of his experience, should be able to go.
Yes, that's right, Ross, but you still kick the ball through the goals, don't you? As Steve Kernahan showed last night. Will he kick well to the left? Will it be enough? He hasn't kicked well enough to the left. You've just got to put the ball way out to the left. You really got to do a double take on that one.
It's a really strong breeze.
Kane Taylor. Phil, they're kicking out to the attacking side of the ground.
Yes, I know, Peter. They've Sandringham have got a zone defence out, but it's not affecting them.
Little. Just got better for that whack, I think. It's got past Clark, or has it? Oh, I think that's a bit hard. He turned around to try and take the mark. Slipping away is Kevin O'Donnell. Melody. Over the top of the ball. Holden not in possession is the decision. Caples keeping it low. And on the bounce, Walker. Fortuitously to Scott-Brannigan. Spoilt was Amiot. Taylor, visit to Bergman. They look very assured.
Good.
Little too slow. Well caught by Amiot. Caples caught by Winton. Throw-in is about 30 metres around from Sandringham's goal.
They link up so well in defence. Yes, Ross.
You might have mentioned this, Phil, but I missed it. Alvin playing a forward pocket now, is he? And off Carroll to try and give us some goal-kicking power.
Yes. He wasn't doing enough in the midfield, Alvin.
O'Donnell off for the Scorpions. Out to half-back flank. Scott-Brannigan. Didn't find a man. Damien Carroll now released from Alvin. Kicks to Baldwin, who is playing better when the Vales are kicking into the breeze. Up towards Dyson Holland. Seems to judge the ball better. He and Evans have been good.
Well, they're moving a lot of players up Springvale and then running it, and there's a lot of free space for the likes of Baldwin, and they're playing in front. There's O'Donnell having a breather on the
You think that's what it is, Phil? Just a breather?
I don't know. Might be something wrong. Can't be sure, Peter.
I think they'd take him off.
You wouldn't think so.
And that was Frater who grabbed Knight's leg, stopped him getting the kick away. Carroll's handball. Kim Scott Brannigan to the running Martello. They've got to make something out of these forward pushes. Crow, a bit more mobile than Simon Clark. Has he used the ball better this time? He's put it into the path of Foley. He can run another 5. Breeze will help this. That's a beautiful kick. What a class player. Second goal for Shane Foley. That'll give them some heart. They're within 8 points.
Yes, they're within 8 points, Peter, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them. Quarter of an hour into the third quarter. They really got to kick a swag of goals, I fancy, in the next 10 or so minutes. But it's there. Well, a goal's a goal. You can lift your side. Good play by Crow to put it into the corridor. Fortunately, the bounce is favourable to Foley. He's always going to go on. I thought he might have had a bounce. Then again, there was a player just out of sight there coming in. So can they hit the front? The Zebras. If they can get 2 goals up, we've got a real game on our hands. They get 2 and a bit at three-quarter time, we're in for a real game.
The Zebras were in front in the second semi just before and just after half-time. They eventually lost by 45 points. They trail now by 9 points. Crow, good win in the middle. Winton. Alvin can't get his foot to the ball. They needed that possession.
They did too, Ross. It's so important, those possessions, but he keeps pushing Alvin, doesn't he? All that experience he's acquired over the years. It's centre bounce play.
Clark. Walker there. Alvin. Got a little nudge. Crow was quick. He's improving. Snooks attacked it. Thumps it long but wide. That wasn't very good.
Oh, dear me. He has a disappointment some days, Lee Snooks. You know, the accolades flow his way when he's good. When he's bad,
he's horrid. But there he is with the mark.
And maybe he'll drag himself out of this hole that he's dug.
He can kick this. He certainly can. To the line. Rennet! Who was that who smothered it? Allen trying to turn.
It was back on.
Montgomery that smothered that kick. They have a bit of a laugh.
It was 12 and 5 for O'Donnell, so wouldn't think it was form.
He got the thigh bandaged.
Warwick Angus tried to grab it out of the air. Winton gave it down towards Amiot. Might have got a bit of a foot to it, through for a behind.
Just didn't slip the right way, that ball.
Now it's 8 points the difference. 18 and a half minutes. Rod Morgan on the right has seen about 20 seconds of action in this game so far.
And these kick-ins, they were able to keep kicking to the attacking side, just breaking the zone defence, going beyond the zone defence.
Kane Taylor. To keep it up that rush wing through the hands of Crow. The Sandy supporters now trying to lift their team.
Jason Smith coming off for Springvale. The full forward. Grabbed by Courtney. He's put to ground. Melody. There's Smith. And a throw in. And coming on, Rod Morgan.
He's gone to the back line. Has he gone loose in defence? Maybe he has. What will Nick Murray do? We'll have to work it out.
Evans waits for Clark's tap down. Didn't come. Foley. Carroll just stole it from him. In goes little Frater. Nearly 20 minutes into the third quarter.
What tonnage do you reckon the little Frater is?
About 75k.
About?
Very precise is our Ross Booth. Clark down to Frater. Fatty just clears the lines. Kicking for touch, as his namesake would have done in the past.
Jason Smith, he'll be well held by Nick Murray today.
Knight Got it to Melody. Did well to gain 40 metres there, and he's found Baldwin. They stream past him. He puts it high. Well done, Martello. Worked Dyson Holland underneath it. Frater to Mitchelson. Some heavy work going in there from Walker.
Kick.
Oh, beautiful. It's Snooks. Too far out to score. Long, fast lead from Amiot. He and Alvin crash into one another, and Tom Alvin's still down. Knight to O'Donnell. Hanson, a despairing hand at it. Baldwin, great recovery as usual. Away from the despairing Hanson. Carroll for Dyson Holland. Well done, Scott Brannigan. Montgomery. Well done by Robert Walker.
Alvin's in a bit of trouble.
Hip, I would say, Alvin.
The accidental bump going for the mark with Amiot.
Wasn't quite as bad as the Gale brothers effort last night.
And the legs tiring for the Zebras. Leelnors has it. Tried to find Baldwin. Nick Murray. Oh, that was good running by Tim Scott Brannigan, making a liar of me. Winton pushes his man under the ball in Caples, but he recovered very well. Fed out the hand pass to Little. He's got a lead from O'Donnell. And the pacey Mitchelson. Good contest there. 8 points.
And Tommy Alvin off.
Yes, he's going.
Smith.
Wrongly to the bench rather than interchange bench to Alvin, but he's corrected his direction. We're in a bit of pain. Yes. At the 22-minute mark, Alvin off. Frater.
Oh, handball.
To Herman. Was good. Winton on a lead. Good mark to Sugar in front of Caples. 8 points, the Zebras trail. Davison ready to come on. Long bomb. Flying was Brent Smith. It's kicked wide. Rennett's in front of Montgomery. Oh, now, just bangs it into the square. Smith coming from a leap. Got hands to it and rushed through.
Gee, Rennett's was good then, wasn't he? The way he won the contest, got back and set it up nicely. Smith nearly plucked it.
He's starting to get a little bit on top in a few of the vital duels. I think Frater is now becoming a bit of an offensive force. He's shut Knight right out of it.
He's done very well. These kick-ins are really hurting them, though, Peter.
That's hurting too for the coach. Play on the outer wing. Caples, no room to move in. It's still got the ball away. Montgomery played. Cross to Courtney. Now to Davison. Goes back on the ball, spinning on its axis. Kick off the ground from Melody. Well done, Martello. Still attacking it. Williams gets it to Murray. They've got a bit of a sniff, I think, the Zebras at the moment. Winton. Foley, they can't afford to let him drift down into the forward line unguarded, and Morgan's well aware of that. He bounced over Crow a little bit too easily, but Brent Smith is there. Hoists it high. He wants a Warwick Angus mark. He nearly got it. Peacock. Melody. Scorpion defence standing firm. Morgan. Davison. This is what they do so well. Link up from the back line right up into a scoring position. Go, they tell him. Kane Taylor for home. Evans, brute strength. Brilliant. No doubt about it. From full back to full forward without a Zebra touching it.
Well, it was brilliant play by the Vales then from the back line. Under a bit of pressure, Warwick Angus couldn't hold the mark, and from that spot they just took it. Didn't let a Sandringham player touch it, and then Taylor set it up beautifully for Evans. In front again.
Not an easy kick at goal. There's a gale coming across from right to left. He's only 10 metres out. Keep it low. He's got it.
Good work.
He is the difference. Brent Evans, when the ball goes up there, he's converting. 3 goals, 1.
Judging the ball in the air so well, Phil.
Yes, he is, Ross, and playing it as a real percentage, isn't he? Not jumping, using his body neatly, and it's great play by Taylor. Davison gets it out to or O'Donnell. Finally, we get to Taylor. Has to wait for it. The wind's got it. Nearly slips through him. And then he puts it up. And you just notice here, Evans in front.
7 marks and 2 free kicks going for marks. He's showing his class. But the Zebras go forward. Amiot flies in a pack. Out by Allen. Morgan did well. Amiot over the top. It's going to make it hard for Angus. He's put the ground.
Well done, Rod Morgan. Beautiful tackle on the big bloke.
No better tackler in the game.
Yeah, very good at it.
Phil, do you think that Sandy are just bombing it a bit long, a bit indiscriminately?
Yes, I think there's no real pattern at all there, but it's tricky, the wind, and they've had it up a couple of times high, Ross, and not held the marks. That's one of their problems. They don't take marks up there. That's what you've got Walker down the back half.
2 goals the lead for Springvale. Melody brought it to ground, well handled by Herman. He wants to kick a goal.
And he doesn't. Out of bounce.
They had a good passage of 3 or 4 minutes there, but couldn't make anything of it, Sandringham.
Similar to the first quarter, Peter.
Bergman. Clark. Couldn't quite bring it down with him. Snooks, caught by Knight. And Montgomery's been terrific. Went for the boundary line there.
Didn't give the Zebras any space. Trying to make a path. 2 goals down, looking difficult into the breeze in the last quarter. You'd reckon that the Vales would be too strong now.
15 scoring shots from Sandringham, 12 Springvale.
Clark ridden to the ground by Crow. Knight's been quiet. Rennett's.
Play.
Nice kick in towards Angus. Good grab, Warwick.
Oh, umpire.
Was that Little?
Oh, could easily have been 50, my friend.
Bergman it was, not Little.
Could easily have been 50. Look, you'll see why.
Not completely
that pretty.
Accidental,
no,
was it?
It wasn't, Peter, and that's the rule that they've really got to sharpen up on.
The Zebra
supporters, I've been
supporters
saying for a long time,
have their heart in their mouth. Just 1 kick so far. He's not a renowned goal kicker, but he's put it through. No, for a point. Well,
unbelievable. He put it out to the left.
Sorry, do
Did
get
it
the
right?
hopes up.
Playing his 51st game today for Sandringham. He's kicked 6 goals in that time at Beach Road. Bergman. It's persistent going up that outer side of the ground. Little went defensive on Murray.
What a couple of players they are, Bergman and Little. They just do not put a foot wrong. There's Little. Adrian Little been a great player for them. Just a terrific percentage player. You'd love to have him lined up for your back pocket.
Crow's tap. Murray's been thrown up forward. He's lost a boot. Foley hands the ball out to Snooks, and there's the Mark Allen. The skipper must inspire. Strides down around his knees, but an incredibly important kick with the siren not too far away for 3/4 time.
Yes, he's a class act too, Peter. When it comes to kicking the football, he's probably as good as any in the side.
Right there, Marty, no closer. Right there.
Kicked a goal in their premiership of 1994. If they're going to follow it up in 1995.
Right there, Ian.
This has got to be a big spur to them doing that. Five points the difference now, thanks to Ants.
Anthony Allen, the captain, up to the forward line, kicking a very valuable goal. Not only that, the use of the body here. Snooks around the corner. Look at Allen, he sticks the backside out on Peacock and takes the mark on the chest. Only probably a minute to go. Can they hit the front before 3/4 time?
There's the clock.
If a minute. 30 seconds, 20 seconds maybe.
Counting down. Crow goes at it, won it. Courtney dispossessed. Crow. Well, Foley was on his outside, didn't see him. Mitchelson chases hard, and Phil, you were dead right. Siren goes 20 seconds later, and the difference is 5 points.
So they only kicked one goal in that quarter, and it came at the 28.5-minute mark from Anthony Allen, but they outscored their opposition by 8 points. They reined it forward, but didn't allow for the breeze enough. 17 scoring shots from Sandringham to 12 from Springvale, but the Vales have led from go since, well, not quite, since the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. 5-point leaders with a quarter to go, and they will have the breeze in the last term. That's the story at three-quarter time here at Victoria Park. The favourites, one more quarter, and they are the premiers for 1995. Scorpions, 5 points over the Zebras.
A Chinese tradition, thousands of years old, facing major problems.
Getting better or getting worse over time.
The dilemma to develop an international market while preserving a fragile culture.
They can no longer rely on the safety net of communism.
Australian science may have the solutions. Wantum, 8 o'clock Wednesday. They're tiny people.
Harpsichords, where did they live?
In the harpsichord. Them upstairs couldn't play a note. So the borrowers were able to live inside, you see.
In a land of giants.
He spoke to you. Here you are, he said.
Braving upstairs to borrow little things.
I could go borrowing.
You don't know what you're saying.
It can be a very dangerous business.
A human being never lets it go once a borrower gets seen.
So keep an eye out for the borrowers. 6 o'clock Saturday.
Well, looking at quarter by quarter, it was 7 points with the breeze to Sandringham at quarter time, 13 to Springvale at halftime. But the interesting statistic from that third quarter is that Springvale with 2 scoring shots kicked 2 goals. Sandringham with 10 scoring shots could only manage, well, they kicked 2 goals in that quarter, 2 goals, 8. And it's Foley who's got 2 from the midfield for Sandringham. Evans has been the dominant forward, some fine marking, and when he hasn't marked, invariably they've had to give away a free kick to stop him. He's kicked 3, and O'Donnell is the other multiple goal kicker in a low-scoring VFA Grand Final in 1995.
That's right, as I was saying last year, 24 points down and got up and won.
6 goals to 1 in the last quarter against Box Hill.
Drop back, then he's going to drop back to run it up, force the position for us. Okay, worked well in the second quarter. It's not a negative position, but it's there to get back. We've got to run it up. We've got to use the handball. We're going to draw them up, okay? So we've got to get the run. Just don't kick it for the sake of kicking. Obviously, going under pressure, you've got to get it on our way. Let's try and run it up. Bounce, you can bounce it, draw a bloke over, hit it over the top. That's what it's about, isn't it? Even if it's to space. Yep, got to work hard. I'll tell you what, we fucking worked real hard that quarter. We just couldn't get the score on the board. This is it really, fellas, isn't it? Come on, mate. Come down the last quarter. There's 5 points in it, mate.
40 minutes worth of footy. We're down to our last 30 minutes. But let's not detract away from the little things that count. Those 30 minutes break down into 10. 10 minutes, and each of those 10 minutes breaks down to contest by contest. Let's not get away from that focus of getting to each contest and working ourselves in each contest. Win it, move the ball on, let's start to run. Let's break.
All the pressure's on them.
Well, one of the things that was written on the board in the Springvale rooms before the game was, tell Springy they're no good. Well, I think Springvale have proved they're better users of the ball, especially when it counts up around near goal.
Oh, they're top side, Peter. They're
But
a great side.
I think what Tom Elvin was saying there,
nothing to lose.
Should all of a sudden the momentum go Sandringham's way, all those memories of what's happened in previous grand finals last year, namely, will come flooding back for the Springvale players. And of course Williamstown did it against them in 1990. Hanson attacking the ball there, and a good follow-up from Montgomery, who mucked the bounce up but got it back to Brett Evans.
And they've tried everything on Evans, but just haven't been able to contain him. 3 great goals, 2 rippers in the third quarter into the breeze from really a very strong mark. Getting in front, Evans. I mean, he's usually a high flyer, and today's conditions don't really suit him, but he's added another string to his bow. Just using a bit of guile, using the body. That was great play by Crow. Foley gets the slip through the pack, runs to 50, kicks the goal that really mattered. But the Vales then terrific in defence, linking up beautifully. Rod Morgan, and we see this open up. Davison to O'Donnell. Typical Springvale play to Taylor. He goes in. The crowd roars, pushes him on. Gets to about 40. Breeze holds the ball up. But look at Evans. Yes, in front. Receives the free kick. Kicks into the gale and goals. Been a great player. But not to be outdone, the Sandy went back for yet another one. Look at the kicks. Not much in a handball, Springvale. That's characteristic of their game. Virtually doubled Sandringham's
Well, Carroll
possessions.
and Melody are their top possession getters with 22 apiece. Carroll 13 handballs, Melody 10. With most handballs from a Sandringham player, 6'4" Foley. Their top possession getter is Reynolds with 17. As Michael Ford said, 30 minutes left. Springvale protecting a 5-point lead. Clark gets his hands on it. Frater made sure that Knight didn't get away with it. Peacock gets the kick forward. Martello leading Dyson Holland. Davison hanging on to Martello. Nick Hansen kept it in play. Now Martin Melody with nowhere to go.
Well, that's good pressure football all round. Both sides desperate.
Ross and Clark.
Yes, well, Michael Ford wants more out of the midfield. He wants them to run. He said, let's get 2 quick goals. We'll break them. He said, no, heck, let's get 3.
Tom Alvin believes the pressure's on Springvale. 5 pointers in it and believe they can win. Look right into the eyes of the players. Go for it.
Davison. Allen arrives. Goes again. Davison's a terrier, though.
Oh, well done by Allen. Gee, that was smart play there, Peter. Pushed him back, and then just grabbed hold of him, contained him. No free kick. Smart play. Oh, good knock.
Kane Taylor realises he's in the open spaces.
Danger.
Evans. Well fisted away, Walker. Fall of the ball, Montgomery. Makes the difference a goal.
Oh, that would have hurt. They put that one through. Montgomery had a very interesting duel with Tim Renitz on a wing. Almost fairly even, I would think. In terms of stats, Rennett's been pretty good, under a lot of pressure.
McMurray goes for Crow as usual. Clark's fist. Knight telling Courtney that he's clear, and there's Murray, who's certainly had the better of that duel with Smith. Very adaptable final series from Nick Murray. Now back in his favoured position. He sets away Mitchelson. He finds Brent Smith. Oh, that was poor from Nick Hansen, but there was Brent Smith to pick up. Clark. Carroll, Melody. Peacock. Didn't get a hold of it as he would have liked, but there was enough on it.
Goal.
Scott Peacock, the vital first goal of the last quarter is Springvale's, and they're 2 goals in front now.
Well, sort of fitting in a way. This bloke's been a great player for Springvale over the years. Melody just not quite controlled there by Crow, or held by Crow. Ball spills out and just through. Walker unable to lay a hand on it.
Scott Peacock playing his 86th game today. Played in that losing 1990 grand final. Once they get the sniff in their nostrils, they'll be very hard to stop.
12 points the margin. Foley pushing it forward into the path of Mitchelson. Kicks it inside 50. Back goes Amy. And Kane Taylor made a very good spoil, getting the ball and missing Amy its head. Peacock whips it out to Caples. The Springvale defence stands firm. Caples punts long to centre wing. Underneath it, Crow almost. Paddled forward by Clark. Grabbed by Dyson Holland. Martello over the top. Anthony Allen in trouble. Caught. Holding the ball.
Lucky.
Got away with it.
High tackle the call.
Was it? Williams has it. He kicks inside 50. It's all Springvale. And Caples backs into Taylor and takes the mark.
Copped a heavy knock early in the game. Went off for a while. There's Jeffs having a gallop. This has been a nullifying roll on Amiot today, and he's found Peter Baldwin. He's just about the bloke you'd put your money on.
Yeah, and he's smart too, Peter, when it comes to sizing up a goal. You bet he'll put this well out to the left, and he'll put it high. He'll let the wind do the work. And I reckon he'll kick it.
Hasn't kicked one today. He's kicked 39 for the season now. If this doesn't go too far, it does. It went about a goal and a half. Yes. Put it too high, Phil.
Yes, well, he did. He put it out. It seemed to be right initially halfway through the journey. That wind is very strong.
First score for Peter Baldwin.
Yep.
Unusual for him, but a low-scoring game. 55-42. 5 minutes into the final term. The Scorpions with the strong breeze. Up goes Baldwin, another chance. There's Tom Alvin with what's just a badly bruised hip or buttock. Right side. He'd be out there if he could. Off comes Courtney. Baldwin a chance to goal.
Oh,
torpedo, boomer.
Up that.
Straight through, that might be it. Peter Baldwin kicks his first goal, a very, very timely one.
Oh, what a goal. What a magnificent goal. You don't see many of those, Ross. But he had a shot just prior to that. He was a little bit stiff. The wind just went a bit harder than it has done all day. Look at him on this occasion. He gets a free kick on Walker, and he goes back and kicks a magnificent torpedo goal. I think Peter Dacos would have been proud of that. He's kicked a few of those out here, Dakes. That was a ripper.
Clark charges down the Allen kick. Good knock on to Davison. He's a rubber ball, this bloke. Oh, beautiful kick. Montgomery gets a good shepherd. Sells the dummy once. Breaks a second tackle. Morgan touched off the boot. And then the free kick against Davison on Scott Brannigan.
And that brick wall is starting to fall on top of the Sandringham team. A lot of pressure mounting.
Murray over to Allen. Oh, Walker just hands the ball across to Allen, then went to Shepherd and got one high. Does make sure the umpire knows on every occasion. Robert Walker holds the head until he's 100% certain. Away goes Scott Brannigan. Winton.
More trouble.
Has he been the loose man in defence, Phil, that he was supposed to be? Seems to have Winton been up in the middle. There's the kick from Montgomery. Evans couldn't pluck it. It did slip high, and the tap by Murray goes straight to Dyson Holland. Smith gets his first goal, and the Scorpions look to be applying the fatal sting now to the Zebra. They are 25 points in front.
Yes, they've worked hard, the Zebras. They've really tried to contain the Vales, put a lot of pressure on, but you can just sense now their class is going to emerge in the last quarter. They'll just throw caution to the wind now, the Vales. Really attack.
Murray, bit stiff, taken a bit high, but all the momentum with the Vales. Mitchelson away from Clark. Still they try. Amiot on a lead. Waits for it. Feeds out the hand pass. Snooks will come back on the left foot. Pump it across towards Smith and Kuipert. Smith trying to mark. He's got it on his preferred left foot. Bergman traps it nicely. Feeds it out to Jeffs. Kicks to the defensive 50. O'Donnell. Kane Taylor caught high by Snooks. And the free going to the advantage of Springvale. Kane Taylor to O'Donnell. O'Donnell at half back. Puts it wide. Mitchelson in front.
She's worked hard, Mitchelson.
Juggled the mark. 8.5 minutes into the final term. 18th possession. Good mark. Kuipert spent much of the time on the bench. Indeed started there. Kicks to the lead from Angus, but it was way short of him with the breeze. Davison tears in. Good work by Herman. Hasn't done a lot. Davison sticks with Herman. Still Davison. Over the top goes Rennitz. Bergman up from defence. Chance for Herman on the left foot. Little chip kick. Splits two Sandringham forwards in Snooks and Winton and finds Adrian Little.
Little, Caples, Bergman. They've been the anchors in the Springvale defence this season, and they've had more firepower than in previous years up forward, where they've fallen in the preliminary in 94 and 93 as Frater gets one in the back from Bergman.
She's done a big job on Dennis Knight.
He's done it well too. Mark Frater passes too high, and away goes Caples. Against Baldwin. Free kick for Brent Smith. 25-point leaders are Springvale, coming up to the 10-minute mark of the last quarter. Again, the kick goes too far into the forward line. Clark battles well, knocks it away from Snooks, but Mitchelson was there. Crow. They're just kicking it forward in hope. Maybe it'll fall for someone. That someone here is Winton. Picked up well by Amiot. He's got himself clear here, Steve Amiot. Must kick it. Doesn't. Today he has kicked 1 goal, 5. 24 the difference. 10.5 minutes into the last quarter.
Let's go, mate. High on.
Little is the target. He'll carry over the top with the fist over Crow. Down towards Morgan, chased by Williams. But Rod Morgan couldn't control it. Looking to be a member of his...
It'll also be hard not for his thoughts to be going ahead a little bit, 20 minutes or so, to when that siren sounds.
The juggernaut, Rod Morgan, isn't he? When he heads for the ball. Look at that, the bottle pocket battleship. Been pumping a bit of iron, I would think. Roscoe?
Rodney.
Yeah. There's Rodney with double D, is it?
That's right. There's Tom Alvin. Nick Hansen on the right. And Alvin done well to get the Zebras this far. It looks over for them, unless they can mount something miraculous. Herman punts towards Kuipert. O'Donnell with fresh legs. After the week's rest. Caples gave Kuipert a chance. Peacock in there. Kuipert throwing himself in. Melody and Taylor fighting for the ball. And there'll be a bounce. 24 points the margin. Must be Scorpion supporters. 67 to 43. 12 minutes into the final term of the grand final.
Clark battles well. Melody picks up. Dyson Holland towards Morgan. Getting the better of Williams.
Well done.
Puts it into the corridor with the fly hack. Walker goes towards the boundary line. Rennitz was there. Ordinary. His man, Montgomery, couldn't pick it up, though. Scott Brannigan gives it to Herman. Wave. Allen. Well done. Herman to Scott Brannigan. Winton. Skyscraper, but no mark. Snooks. Kuipert. This is what he's in for, to try and inspire something. Off the bench, he can't, and Foley just runs straight through his opponent there. It comes across to Kuipert.
Gee, they've been inept on that forward line, Sandringham. Really, that was an opportunity there for Amiot to do something smart, and he just wasn't thinking.
Jeffs was the player that copped the one from Foley. He's up now. Davison. Chopping it off as Frater.
Frater away, chips it in towards Angus and finds him. Gives it to Herman. He's good on the left foot. Back goes Amiot, should mark. Still a chance. Amiot slips, and in comes Caples. And nothing's going right for the Zebras. And Caples takes it to the line and over.
And if he hadn't touched that, I fancy it would have gone through the goals, you know. But I suppose you shouldn't be too hard on Amiot, really. He's got to play like a tall down there. He really needs some support from other bigger players. It's a big ask.
1-5. He's tried very hard. Clark over the top of Angus. Peacock.
Oh. Deliberate.
Oh.
very sheepish looking Scott Peacock. Well, Springvale still talk about that free kick played against Phil Maylan in 1990.
Indeed.
For holding the ball, so maybe that's evened up a little bit. There's O'Donnell downed after he kicked it. Carroll rather. Now they go forward through Knight. One of the few free possessions he's got. Jason Smith will shoot at goal from about 35 metres, 45-degree angle to put the final nail in Sandringham's coffin, even though we're only halfway through the last quarter.
Yes, I think there are sufficient nails in it for it not to be opened, Peter.
He's kicked one goal so far. He hasn't added to that. That's a shocker.
A bit of a confidence player, well, most players are, but Smith, he needs to get cracking early. Once things don't pan out too well, he's a little bit restricted at times.
Well, Phil, you'll be glad to know that some of the boys keeping our balance of payments better than they could be up at the Argyle Diamond Mine. Chris Farrell and the Sandy supporters watching this delayed telecast on tape, 500 of them. So we won't tell them the final score yet, will we?
No.
In case they haven't managed to keep away from the papers for a week.
Damien Carroll there with Anthony Allen. Anthony Allen held the Premiership Cup aloft last year over Box Hill. And another throw in that forward pocket in front of the Social Club. Carroll's been one of the chief possession getters, marked for a while by Ian Herman, then Tom Alvin. The ruckman miss it. Foley around the corner and up and under. Mitchelson with O'Donnell. O'Donnell did the right thing, spoiled at the back. Down to Evans. Good hand pass to Smith. Back to Baldwin on the left foot, a bit wide, but dangerous looking.
He's a skater, isn't he, Baldwin? He just goes across the ground very quickly.
Done all his scoring in the last quarter, 1 goal, 2. And Damien Carroll gets warm applause from the Scorpion fans as he comes off to allow Tim Courtney onto the ground, and someone souvenired the footy. Maybe Jan Hurst can get that one out of mothballs that she won as our competition winner. But Damien Carroll, he's played a fantastic final series. Well, not just the final series. This season, Carroll has played 18 games, so that's every game for the Scorpion side, along with Shane Bergman. Knocked over by Walker there. Sasha Dyson-Holland hasn't missed a match. Brett Montgomery has been one of their good players today. Michael Jeffs, one of their veterans, hasn't missed a game this season, having missed out on the grand final victory in 1987, having played 11 games and was dropped prior to the finals. As a 19-year-old.
Oh, well done, Rodney.
Yes, he knocked it through to Smith. Stand and deliver. Oh, I think he's got it. Oh, everything going right now. And the Scorpions can start preparing for a week of celebrations, both players and spectators, officials. What has looked well and truly on the cards since, round 7. They won 7 in a row before Coburg beat them on June 11. They will win 11 in a row from then on to take the flag. And Jason Smith gets his second goal of the afternoon, and some glum Sandringham supporters.
It was a great knock, great bump by Rod Morgan.
Pushed forward by Foley. Grabbed by Winton. Thought about the hand pass. Didn't give it. Kicked. Angus could mark. In front. Oh, Snooks is there too. And Snooks have the stronger purchase on the ball. Hasn't kicked a goal today. Well, indecisive. Now kicks. Kuiper will fly. Amy, it stays at ground level. The ball drops straight to the foot of the pack, and Montgomery kicks an own goal. Registers 1 point. Look at the smile on the face of Brett Montgomery. Brett Montgomery realises With 30 points the difference at the 19-minute mark, he can afford to smile like that.
And Bergman can afford to barrel one into the centre square. The knock-on from Little. He and Crow go on with it behind play. Knight. Oh, Walker's given away a lot of silly frees, and that's an even sillier one. Aaron Martello should have been penalised for that. He's absolutely poleaxed Jason Smith. Away goes Shane Kane Taylor, and he finds the diving O'Donnell. But that was very poor play from Aaron Martello. Nick Murray caught by who else? Morgan. Sandy don't want to lose any of the fans they've won in this final series by doing silly things.
No, that's right, Peter. I didn't quite catch the one on Smith, so I can't really comment on that. You can see it for yourself there. It's really on the chest.
Up goes Dyson Holland. Out by Brent Smith. Lots of trainers there attending the injured player. Smith was the player. Brent Montgomery into Sasha Dyson Holland.
Raffle it.
Been very quiet. Second kick coming up and 7 handballs. And the kick just falling into Dyson Holland's hands. Surely will goal, though the breeze is very tricky. And I think he was allowing for the breeze, but not that much. It was a poor kick off the boot.
Aaron Martello's certainly won that duel.
Yeah, been a good player in the finals. Martello, very good player.
And that's Jason Smith, who's, I think, going to watch the rest of the game from the bench. And getting applause from the rampant supporters on the terraces, singing and dancing while their team goes on to what's going to be a big victory, Phil. They're going to just about double them.
And Melody here has just taken that mark. He's been there's Jason Smith.
I was critical of him in the first half. I thought he got near the ball a lot, but never really grabbed it too often.
Is that Melody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of hard work, though, Peter.
He's kicked a goal, too.
Sunk that one. Yes. Yeah, I think he works hard in the packs. He really intercepted that well, Martin Melody. It'll be a great year for him. First goal, having come across from Oakley. No. Yes.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of head shaking going on. I lost the plot somewhere. But you'll see Martin Melody here sneak through. A very impressive player this year with the Vales. Lost one club and went on to be in a premiership side in another.
27 possessions, Phil. Been a good player.
Clark trying to tell me.
Kicks it out to half forward.
Fingers to work that out.
Williams in possession. Whisked out the hand pass to Herman. Rennett's twisting, turning. Kicks to centre wing and out of bounds. At the 22-minute mark, 81-44. The Scorpions will win their first flag since 87. Leelnor's on the bench. And Smith feeling the ribs.
Yes, he got a whack across the ribs, the top of the ribs, I would say.
Crow paddles it down to Frater. Tried very hard.
Tried very hard.
Back goes Kuipert. In he goes, gets a high one, gets a couple, and will take the free kick.
Very hard to take a player like Kuipert into a final, isn't it?
Hasn't played enough, yes. The kick towards Amiot. With him, Jeffs. Amiot pulls Jeffs around the neck. And Jeffs takes the free kick in the back pocket. He gets a lead from Taylor. That's very adventurous. Bounce doesn't favour Taylor. Mitchelson, little paddle forward. Crow, the chip to Angus. Now can Warwick Angus kick a goal for the Zebras. No, he goes short to Winton. 40 metres out from goal, but directly in front now.
Tried quite hard, Brian Winton. Had a great deal of the ball, but he was fairly physical early.
He kicks, it'll be his first. Sandy had only kicked 5. 5-15. 45.
Phil, didn't we
Zebras.
hear Tom Alvin say that Winton was going to be a loose man in the back half?
Well, he did, but he changed.
It didn't last long.
No, when they kicked a couple of goals, Peter, he brought him up. There was no point, really, in keeping in defence. Martin Melody again. Good, solid player.
Oh, fine mark, Simon Clark. He's gradually just gone on top, I think, hasn't he?
Percentage player. Probably Crows had the better of him in ruck duels and smothered him at other times. Been a good contest.
Nobody touched that. Brent Smith knocking it over the boundary line. Justin Crowe having a bit of a limp. There's Carroll, looks like he's come back on, kicking the ball across the goal, where Baldwin takes advantage of it tonight on his left peg as it touched through for a behind. $37 points. Springvale's lead. We're just waiting to find out what the final winning margin will be. We're into time on now. Morgan there to stop the handball. Baldwin back to Carroll. Breeze is helping. On the line, it's a mark for Brett Evans.
Brett Evans has been a very good player today. If he kicks this, it'll be 4 goals. 8 marks out of 13. And there it is. And probably the player that made the difference in the first half, this bloke, Brett Evans. It was one player they could not contain.
Well, a well-known pigeon fancier is Brett Evans. He and Trevor Barker have exchanged notes on how to look after the racing bird. In fact, even earlier in the week, they had a talk about that.
That's very nice to know. But look at the mark.
Maybe they're going to talk next week about winning flags, because Evans now has his team 43 points in front. Davison throwing his body in. I think he's been worth the inclusion, Phil.
Yeah, been handy, Peter.
There's Carroll over the top of it. Rennett's kept battling. Probably just about the player of the final series, Tim Rennett's. It's going to be to no avail as Hansen hands off to Kuipert. Good spoil from Jeffs. Bergman now helps him out. Terrific play from those two.
Oh, they've been good.
The back pocket and the full-back. And Jeffs sets away Kane Taylor.
He's been good too, Peter. Taylor.
Handball was a little bit high for Carroll. Foley spotted Winton. He's got loose now, Steve Amiot. Can run in and kick his second goal of the day. He's got it at the 27-minute mark of the final term. We're probably not going to get doubled now, Sandringham, but that's a small consolation. Amiot 2-5.
I suppose when it's all washed up and the post-mortems are held, you'd have to say really that they gave it their best shot, Sandringham, but the side they're playing was just too good. A consummate football side, the Vales in 1995. Class all over the ground, tough at the ball, very disciplined, great versatility.
And the bookies got it right, odds of 2-7.
No doubt about it, Peter.
Coming in. And Leon Moores is coming onto the ground. Is it Caples that's been arrested? No, it's Sasha Dyson Holland with a little bit of blood below the left eye. They've worked their bench all afternoon. They've been fresher coming in. They've been classier all around the ground all season. Mitchelson out wide to Snooks. Half volley. Mitchelson followed up.
They've been tremendous, Mitchelson, under great pressure in that midfield, because the Vales midfield is just superb.
Clark slips it through to Marty Melody. Boomer into the forward line. Through the hands of Walker. Brett Evans has got another one. 5 for Evans this afternoon. Melody shooting it long from the wing. And the Sandy backs knew they were in trouble. And they're going to enjoy it right to the finish.
Evans really, 5 goals in a low scorer. And that's Melody again. Melody's been a power player in this game too. Evans over the back. And doesn't he give it a thump?
So Robert Walker's going off with the blood rule now. There's been a good half a dozen players in that situation today as Crow comes back on for the last rites of this game. .43 points is the lead. More scoring shots now as well, 24-21.
Down, Spinny.
Morgan, a real favourite. An inspiring clubman. Got it to Courtney. There's Davison. Brent Smith. Certainly hasn't been disgraced today. Melody's going to get another stat here. Well caught by Winton. Caples. Foley kicked it off the ground. Winton kicks it out on the full. No celebrating this year for the Zebras. 3 and 4 years would have been a
bit greedy.
Incredible achievement. Greedy, Phil. Yes, good call.
No, the better side's got the flag. The best side has the flag in 95, Peter.
The leaper was Baldwin there. It fell to Carroll. Davison moves his man, Scott Brannigan, out of the way. Murray's been terrific. I think it might come back again pretty quickly. Good Shepherd to allow O'Donnell away from Montgomery. Comes back to O'Donnell. 2-on-1. Will the bounce favour the Vales again? No. 31 minutes gone. The agony being extended a little bit for the defending champions. Probably got another 30 seconds as the VFA Premier. Murray to Martello. Herman. Scott Brannigan. And Snooks on his own on the wing. The best chains we've seen from the Zebras today. Running on from Mitchelson. Never say die. And even though they've been outclassed today, that's a true summation of the Sandringham team. They've made this final series, really. 2 wins over Port Melbourne. They lost by 45 points in the second semi-final to Springvale, and they're 43 points behind them now. So that first meeting, just 2 points the difference. Back on the 3rd of June, 43 points on the 12th of August, 45 on the 10th of September, and 43 points again now. Jason Caples. To Aaron Martello. The centre-half backs exchanging kicks. Michael Ford, in his first year as coach at Springvale, leads them to their first flag since 1987. They're second in the top flight of VFA football, and for the first time, Rod Morgan tastes a premiership, and it's going to be very sweet for all these players. They've won 11 in a row to take the 1995 Vic Safe Cup.
Yes, Coburg back in 89 lost only 1 game, Peter, to win the premiership. I think we won 13 in a row, but of course they didn't have as many games to play this year. Springvale with only 16 games. Rod Morgan, their souvenir, the football. But a big effort by the Vales. They've been a fantastic side all year. Similar margin to their win in the second semi against Sandringham. Just too good.
So, 2 premierships today for the Vales. A very deep club, and 27-point winners were Gary Atherton's team in the reserve grade over Box Hill, and Michael Ford's team 43-point winners over Sandringham. And they took the lead at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter with a Kevin O'Donnell goal, and they were never headed from there on in. Anthony Allen. They shouldn't really be too disconsolate, Sandringham.
No,
they've
Peter.
played 4 games in a row, while
it would have been
1 final prior to this one for Springvale.
Well, it would have been quite stunning for them to have gotten up. And you could just see in today's game they really weren't ever going to win the game. They worked hard at the start. It was a commendable effort really up until half-time. Well, it was commendable effort the whole game, really. They had to bottle the game up, and they did that in an attempt to stop Springvale's brilliance, but they could only do it for so long. And in the end, the Vale's brilliance did win out. And if the game had gone another quarter, well, they'd have doubled that lead that they already had.
The prize not far away from being presented. Phil, not an easy thing to do. Tell us, you know, what sort of tensions were on you when you only lost that one game in 1989. This team have, as I said, had one hand on that cup really from halfway through the year, in everybody's estimation. Does that bring its own pressures?
Well, it did, you know. I think back in 89 we had a Williamstown to contend with who had some real star players up forward, and they were always going to be dangerous. I think with all respect to Springvale, I reckon this year they knew they could always handle Sandringham.
Well, he's about to lift the cup there, Captain Dennis Knight with Clark Hansen.
Well, Dennis, just a feeling of elation down here. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, to win a grand final, I mean, it's the ultimate. I mean, we've been the best side all year, but it doesn't count to your best side today, and we were, you know. Took 3 quarters to break them. They did well, but, you know, we were fantastic. I'd just like to say to Chris Dillon, bad luck, he missed out today. He got dropped this morning. He pulled his finger out and played a fantastic game in the twos. It was a great day for the club.
Good on you, then. Dennis Knight, the Springvale captain.
Yes, and not forgetting a shattered man, it must be said, Chris Dillon.
Yes, he improved so much over the past 2 seasons, but that's footy, Peter. When you come to the grand final, you've got to make a decision, and that's what they did.
Jason Caples goes over and pats the coach on the back.
I was going to say, Peter, I think the difference between Springvale and other sides was greater this year than probably when we had that one game loss in 89. They were just, this year, the Vales really were just far too good.
Well, in 1992, he tasted a premiership as a Sandringham player. And now, as a coach against his old team, he takes them to victory. Ross Booth, your Master of Ceremonies for the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a hard-fought grand final in very, very trying conditions between Springvale and Sandringham. Commiserations to the Sandringham Football Club. And congratulations to the 1995 VFA premiers, the Springvale Football Club. To present the Norm Goss Memorial Medal for Best on Ground, please welcome Mr. Norm Goss Jr. And the winner is from Springvale, Martin Melody. Also to go with that is the VicSafe Man of the Match Award. Please welcome Mr. Tom Gillette, the Acting Assistant Commissioner, Victoria Police.
Well, on behalf of VicSafe, the Victorian Government and Police anti-crime strategy, it takes me great pleasure to present the VicSafe Man of the Match pewter to Martin. Congratulations, and I'm sure you'll find something to do with that tonight. Thanks very much.
So more to go, Martin. To present the Coffee Ford Man of the Match Award, please welcome Mr. Stan Petty from Coffee Ford.
Congratulations, Martin. Thanks very much. A great game and a great team win. On behalf of Coffee Ford, I'd like to present you with the keys of the laser, and you don't drive them for a week, you've got it for a month. No worries. Congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stan. Brief word, Martin.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank VicSafe and Coffee Ford for the car. The car got stolen this week, so I need one.
Oh, very opportune. Martin, congratulations, the man of the match. And now to present the individual premiership medallions to each of the winning players, please welcome the VFA General Manager, Mr. Martin Stillman. Number 1, Jason Caples. Number 2, Scott Peacock. Number 3, Brett Montgomery. Number 4, Craig Davison. Number 5, Peter Baldwin. Number 7, Kevin O'Donnell. Number 16, Tim Courtney. Number 18, Damien Carroll. Number 19, Martin Melody. Number 24, Simon Clark. Yes! Number 25, Sasha Dyson-Holland. Number 26, Kane Taylor. Number 29, Brett Evans. Number 30, Michael Jeffs. Yeah! Number 34, Kristen Neilnors. I think I might have called 34, do I? Number 34, Jason Smith. Number 35, Rodney Morgan. Heavy days! Number 40, Shane Bergman. Number 48, Adrian Little. The captain, number 23, Dennis Knight. The coach, Michael Ford. Please welcome onto the dais again Mr. Tom Gillette, Acting Assistant Commissioner, to present the 1995 Vic Safe Cup to the winning coach, Michael Ford, and to Captain Dennis Knight. Mr. Tom Gillette.
Right.
I don't know if you can do
Coach,
this. Yeah, thanks.
congratulations on a great victory, and to
so the presentation of the cup about to be made. I'm sure Bernie Shee watching on will be very happy. The former coach Michael Ford has taken that team, brought in some new blood and refined the style of play, made them more adaptable, and they've got the reward, Phil.
Yes, Peter. Well,
and Nathan Burke, captain tonight.
tossing the coin. What a start if he can go from point blank range. He's got it. It's a good one to get, Lee, the first of the grand final, isn't it?
I think so. There's a bit of a cat and mouse going on around the midfield. I think Matthew Hogg is picking